Hello, everybody. We are back with the next episode of the Irrelevant Podcast, getting into the last few episodes of season 2. Man, we've been doing this for like 2, 3 years. Like, how long?
It's been a long time. I don't quite know.
I remember we went on, right, because I mean, it's not like one every week, but like, let me see when the first episode was released. Like, that was like, think like, well, actually, no, the first episode I actually did with someone else. I don't remember if you listened to that.
I think so, yeah.
Right, yeah. So the first one we did, I think, was when I got back from Brazil. Man, that was feels like ages ago.
Time moves slow, yet also fast. It's very strange.
Yeah. So that was okay. It says 2 years ago, but released on August 4th, 2021. So it has been over 2 years.
I've put up for you for so long. I can't believe it.
Did you think we would be? Do you think we would be doing this for 2 years?
Every project I've ever done has always just never got off the ground or never lasted that long. I've never been in a band for more than like a year, so I'm surprised I'm doing something consistent for this long yet.
Wow, really? Okay. Yeah, and we've been. Well, I didn't know that. So, like, how often do you? How many bands have you been in?
I can't even count. The bands that I've been in that's played a show has been two, and the rest has just been
Okay.
like recording with a couple people, maybe having a couple songs, having a couple practices. The bandmates fight with each other. It lasts for a couple months. It's just all around. Just it's hard enough to get four adults in the same room at the same time. So that's part of my problem. I just have awful luck when it comes to that.
True. Dude, we need to start doing something. We need to start making some some exotic shit. Like start making our own Latin music or something.
All the cafes and Sunday afternoon are not ready for it.
Hell nah. Dude, we've been on some good streaks with the posting.
Yeah, got to stay consistent because the algorithm loves to hate ineptitude, I guess, or vacancy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, despite that, I still am very happy of like how the style of the show has kind of been like I think we're at our best right now. I mean, that's what I
You
think.
like the progress.
But,
Yeah.
oh, I do. Yeah, I think my titles and my thumbnails have gotten much better.
I mean, it's just a time thing. It's just you do this long enough.
Yeah,
figure it
no.
out. But
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
feel
just
like
how
we've
the
stayed the
creative
same
process
throughout the
works.
entirety
Yeah.
of the 2 years, so I think it's funny.
Well, that too. I mean, there has to be a constant, but um, like how just things like are just like not perfected, but like they're refined. Got it. All that's good stuff.
Yeah, as the Earth keeps spinning.
Yeah, yeah. So, for the audience, Jason and I watched a really nuts movie.
Yeah.
It is from. So, it is a 2001 Mexican raunchy road trip comedy. I think that's what the genre is. Let me see what it comes up as.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna check on IMDb what it says the genre is, because they get very specific.
It's just a road comedy, and I think raunchy road comedy is probably the perfect description for it because, my God,
But
it's like every 14-year-old's
like,
dream is that movie.
but you have right, but you have to mention that it's Mexican. Because that adds like so much more to like the style and like the character of the movie.
No, yeah, the flavor was definitely there, and the spice.
Oh yeah.
There's no mayonnaise in this one.
No mayonnaise.
No,
There's horseradish.
just tahini and mangoes.
Oh yeah.
But
Fuck. I want.
yeah,
So.
I know why you like this movie, and we'll get into that later.
Like it for multiple reasons.
This is the main multiple.
Yeah. Okay. So on Wikipedia it says Mexican road film.
Road
Wow. Okay. A road film, dude.
Nice.
So it's about these two horny as hell Mexican teenagers. One of them is from like a pretty upper class family, and then the other one is a lot poorer, right? Well, I mean, he's fine now financially, but like he grew up more like as like a like a peasant and whatnot. Um, and so their girlfriends go to Italy for the summer, and they don't know what to do because all they do is have sex, and they don't know what else to do, right? Because they're just teenagers and like that's all they want to do, and they get bored, right? And so that they meet this girl, sorry, no, woman actually. I must mention
Full
that.
grown woman.
Yeah, they meet this older Spanish woman at a wedding party, and the it's a really interesting plot, you know. And like you said, it is every 14-year-old's like dream. Um, so yeah, they convince her to go to the beach with her, and some stuff ensues.
A lot of stuff ensues.
So what did you think of Tu Mamá También, which for those who are uncultured and don't speak Spanish means and your mother too?
What's really funny is as I get older, like I used to find, well, not that used to. I think I'm trying to be very specific here. I still find like sexual humor in that way kind of funny. But like when I was a kid, I was all about it. Like anything like this movie is like innuendo city, or it's just straight up softcore porn, whatever you want to classify it as. So I watched a lot of that
Right.
back in the day. So it kind of felt nostalgic. I was like, dude, if I was literally 15 right now, I'd watch this movie pretty much every day. But I still
Had
think,
you heard have you heard of it before I showed it to you?
I had only heard about it because I was watching a GQ video with the Diego Luna, and he was they know they do like the thing when they break down their most iconic characters.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I heard of it because that was, I think, his first major movie that got him noticed, and then that was the catalyst of him playing in other roles in films. So
Yeah, he and Gael Garcia Bernal were like 18.
yeah, both of them are pretty iconic in the Latin film world, the Mexican cinematic
Yeah,
universe.
right. I don't remember if this was Gael's first movie or if Amores Perros was, but one of those two was his first movies because these came out in the same year. But like, man, that's like a great back-to-back career.
Yeah,
like opening. Sorry for your career. Um,
especially for child actors, because like they kind of get pigeonholed into one kind of role. So if they can't break out of that and make consistently good movies back to back, they're pretty much doomed to roam the streets of Los Angeles on crack or something.
yeah, it's like Thomas Sowell actually gave a really good analogy with like acting is like organized crime where like the top people right are going to be like in luxury, they know all the ins and outs, right? But then like the people who like the petty people who want to try to get in are like always, like there's like they're never going to make it by.
Right.
But as you were saying how like you always liked all that kind of like like it's very crass, I think is the word.
Crude, crass,
um
raunchy, whatever, and or
yeah.
synonym.
This is the most highbrow, lowbrow humor I think I've ever seen in like media.
Yeah, it's very very
If you
fedora
know what I'm
imperial.
saying.
Yeah, it's delectable.
It-
It's a fine wine of the box variety.
right, but it's done so artistically. It's so it's a bizarre experience, right? But a big thing I love about the movie is the way it's shot.
Yeah, it is shot very well.
Yeah, it's shot like it looks pretty, right? The landscapes are beautiful. It's a lot of long takes, right? But because of all of those long takes and the beautiful scenery and just like how like because there's long takes, there's not a lot of cuts and everything. It doesn't look technically cinematic. It just kind of looks like you're actually there. You're it feels real, which is one of the biggest things I like about it. Like it doesn't feel almost like I'm watching a movie. It kind of just feels like I'm literally there, and that's always a compliment I would give a movie if it can make me actually feel like I'm in there.
I feel like I get that impression for a lot of the from a lot of the Latin movies that you showed me. And
Oh yeah,
one
yeah.
thing it's funny about this one is it makes it seem like it's a way more serious movie than it actually is. So that's part of it, because you look at any American
Yeah.
comedy or most Western comedy, like American Pie or another teenage movie or all those other ones, like they look fake. Everything just looks super plastic and colorful, and it's just the scenes are not believable in the slightest. Because I remember mentioning to you about this movie, like all the stuff, as wild as it is in this movie, could happen. Like I could see like a grown
Oh,
woman like doing this
definitely.
shit to a
Oh,
bunch of
totally.
kids like in Florida or something. Like I know, I mean obviously it happens in real life, but the way they portrayed it in the movie
Yeah.
was pretty raw. Like this could actually happen. But all this stupid like American stuff, like American Pie, it's all that's just ridiculous for the sake
I
of
have
being
never.
ridiculous.
I've never actually seen that,
They're
but
awful. They're just
besides
frat bro movies. Like they're not good.
okay, yeah. I mean I figured, but like the the biggest thing I can't stand about like comedies in like the US and like Canada and whatnot is that like they never cast young people to play young people. You know, like you were saying, everything is fake. And it's like, yeah, because all these like people that are supposed to be like 17 or like 35.
Yeah.
But what I like here is that they actually cast like 18-year-olds, which is like that's not hard to do. I mean, sorry, that's not necessarily easy to do,
I
right?
was about to say that can be a double-edged sword. Like I don't have a problem with older people playing teenagers, especially if it's like hypersexual like this. Like that part I really don't have a problem with. I more mean like the
Yeah, this
scenarios and
was
the way
a
that it's shot. But I mean I don't know. It's they are
yeah, but I mean
18,
this
so
was a
whatever. But still.
yeah, but I mean this was a risk though. Like, cause I
Oh
mean a
yeah.
movie like this could have like probably fucked them up for like their entire lives. But I mean from what I've seen from them now, it doesn't seem to be the case. So,
No, I think it's because it was a
um,
well done movie. Like I said, like it was raunchy, but it felt raw, and it had an undertone of actual like philosophy behind it. Not to be pretentious, but like they actually, I mean, especially the narrator. I know like point and point, he would just describe the situation of multiple things at the same time to paint a broader picture than just this is a comedy kind of thing. Even though he was being funny at the same time with the descriptions.
yeah, I wonder what the movie would be like if it wasn't there and you just kind of watched the things play out.
Yeah, I think that's the one great thing
That
about
might have
Latin
been
films. They're great at showing like the entire totality of everyone's lives and the synopsis and kind of like the moral implications of everyone at the same time, just for you to like on display, just for you to see. So I think they always do a great job just not focusing on the main characters, even though they're the driving force of the movie, which is kind of because like most
yeah,
Western movies aren't
yeah.
like that.
Right, and that's not okay. And then that trope, I mean, like it's been done well a lot of times, right? But then
Yeah,
like that can get really old. But
yeah,
also, yeah, but like what you're saying, I really like that because like someone who likes this character might, because like most people end up in like Western movies just like in the main character, right?
yeah,
But like in this, you could be attached to Tenoch, or you could be attached to Julio, or whoever it is, or like in Amores Perros, right? Like, I mean, there's a main character for every storyline. Yeah, but even so, I mean, like the other characters get a lot of attention and stuff. Like it just shows how like the society is not like just revolved around like one person.
yeah.
Well, which I really like. But yeah, like it just really makes you feel like you're just watching like you know like a camera footage because it's all shaky, right? And it's not exactly like it's like a home movie almost, but it still manages to not look like cheap like a home movie. Like it still looks like it's a movie.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a very it's a very it's a very striking balance between the two.
yeah, I think when it's artfully done, because like that's the whole reason why people like independent films or they like more of the raw shit, because it just on a certain level you feel like you could actually be in that scenario, or you're watching something that not a documentary, but it appears authentic to you, even though it's a completely fictional story. So I think that's why it has the charm that it does. But as far as far as like the visuals go, like I said, besides Jackass, I don't think I've seen like a lot more nudity in other movies. Like obviously, like for these types of comedies, you see like the most you'll see is like multiple girls like flashing their tits or something. But this one was you saw a lot of going on. You
This was
saw a lot of pubes, saw a lot of butts. Little
yeah,
little
some
chicharrones
dangling
hanging
too.
out. So
Yeah, no, it's um but it didn't seem like it was too much. Well, except for that scene
I
where
mean,
they're doing it on like the pool. I was like, okay, I don't know if you needed that, but that was like the one time where like it kind of pushed to the edge. But other than that, I mean, it fit in the context of the movie, right? Because the whole movie's about like desire and stuff like that.
oh yeah, desire.
Um, oh yeah. Oh, but yeah, I mean the characters are great. I liked um I liked Julio better than Tenoch. I don't know about you.
I think he was funnier, but I saw more of myself in Tenoch. Also, like I
Really?
just like Diego Luna better as an actor, so I like the stuff that he's in because he has a more of that laid back, observant style, and that's how I usually like to think of myself in most scenarios. But I think
Yeah.
the Julio was funnier as a character. He said funnier stuff, so you definitely gets the edge on
Dude,
that.
yeah, like you were telling, yeah, about like the humor. Like I remember when he's just when he's like did you fuck my girlfriend? And he's like, no, cabrón,
No, cabrón.
cabrón. Like it's just the fact that it's like Mexican and it just makes it like that much funnier. Um,
Oh man.
yeah, and there's also a lot of variety. You know, you got the city, you got like the road trip, like you got they go to like a hotel and there's like the road, like they go to the whole countryside and they go to the beach and there's a lot of variety of environments. It's nice, you see a lot of Mexico, which is really cool.
Yeah, no, I like it. I'm for some reason I'm a sucker for road trip movies. I don't know why, because I like adventuring. I like road trips. So anything in those genres, I tend to like, even if they're bad movies, just to see the scenery and where they go and what they do and all that. For nothing more than just a just a personal, just autistic subconscious thing that I have in my brain. But no, yeah, I love the scenery in this movie. And I think the my favorite was when they were on that beach bar, um, and they got drunk and were just like, airing out all their grievances and laughing about it, and then come together. Then they have one of the most hilarious sex scenes I probably have ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, it's pretty unique. What did you think about that when they started?
I'm
I
ideally
remember you were totally not expecting that.
Well, I kind of forgot about it because when I remember, okay, so I'm gonna set the scene. So this is the reason why Will likes this movie so much. So basically, these two
Okay.
these two friends
Now I
are
see.
have so much tension with each other throughout the entire movie. It seems like it's sexual tension, and the woman that they're with was making a joke. They just need to fuck each other and get it over with. And so there's a scene where they're all drunk at this beach bar, and they go into this shack, which is probably their room, and like there's a scene where they're both naked and she's like bending down. She's like, she's double fisting them, or, double smacking on her tongue or whatever. And like it shows the scene of them both like getting closer and closer together. And then they eventually share a very intimate kiss. And then at that moment, I knew why I will like this movie entirely way too much. And it was probably like
Yeah,
the funny, like I was just imagining, like I said, you watching this with your family. It's fucking.
yeah, you said you would like pay money to
I
have us
would.
all sit down together.
I really would.
Wow.
You want to talk about how reaction channels are dominating YouTube? That's like the ultimate reaction.
Wow, okay.
But yeah,
Yeah,
intense.
I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like I was totally not expecting that.
We were joking like the making like the director making notes. He just basically wants to turn his fantasy into a fucking movie. He's like, all right, now you're gonna kiss each other while she's jerking both of you off, okay? And he's just standing there with like his hands like on his face, just like really giving it like a masterful, I'm actually producing something stare. Like, yeah, this is nice. Yeah, this is how I pictured in my head.
Yeah, we were joking about that, about him like directing. Like, how do you direct this kind of material? Um,
He was definitely wearing cargo shorts that day. That's all I'll say.
nice.
I looked up a picture of him, and he looks like exactly the kind of guy that would fucking direct this movie.
Who? Alfonso Cuarón?
Yes. Might
he's
want
he's
to.
Mexican. He's Mexican cargo shorts.
Yeah, might want to investigate that guy. Just saying.
He is in Hollywood, so you can't really put that behind him.
Yeah, tell it to Weinstein. But I don't know. I think. I mean, all in all, it was a good movie. I can't watch it with anyone. I think it's one of those ones like I can't watch it.
You wouldn't watch that with anyone else, like.
Well, I mean,
I mean, I'm not saying that like you should,
what
but
do you mean?
I'm just.
No, like I can't
Yeah,
watch.
what do you mean? It's a great movie to watch with your mom.
I can't watch this show with my girlfriend because she wouldn't like that. She's like, "This is basically you're watching porn." I'm like, "No, that's not the point." Like, whatever. And then like just like if I like gonna hang out with the bros, like, "Yo, I got this movie we can watch," and it's just like it's just like weird. Like again, it's like it's the weird sexual shit because we're adults now. We're not like teenagers anymore. Like not that many people find that shit funny anymore. So it's like you're watching with grown adults that have their own children. So it's just like, dude, this is fucking weird. You know how people are.
It's still funny though.
I think it's still funny, but
This is one of like this. I think I'm trying to think of like other movies where I just think are just so fucking funny. Like this, what's it called? The Rango. I think is absolutely hilarious.
Rango. I love how you
Yeah,
parallel
it
this to
is.
Rango.
Well, I'm just thinking of like movies where that guy was just dying laughing. I've laughed that's like Rango by myself, and that's very hard. It's very hard to get yourself to laugh when you're by yourself.
Right.
Um,
That is true.
yeah,
That is very true.
yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, if something can get me to like die laughing by myself, then that's how I judge if it's funny or not.
I love those moments because it is it's very seldom that I do that. Honestly, I do that more when I'm in a situation where I can't laugh. That's where I laugh the most, like in class or like if I'm like in a place where people are sleeping and I'm thinking about something funny at 3 o'clock in the morning for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, and then you have no one to share the joke with.
Exactly, and I just have to bite my tongue, make sure I don't snort out too much air. It's stupid.
Yeah, but no, cabrón. Man.
But yeah, it was
But yeah, they
I was not expecting that, to say the least.
what the gay scene?
Yeah, that and just also the other scenes in general. I love the joke while they're fighting over. Eventually, they're fighting with each other because they found out both of them slept with each other's girlfriend, and so the woman that's with them gets tired of it because she gets pushed trying to get in the middle of them to break up the fight.
No, but what was funnier was like when they kept like trying to ask like how far did they go and like what did they do to each
Yeah,
other, you know, like
he's like, I don't know what you're arguing
did
about.
you
You
do
both
this with
came in
her?
10 seconds.
Yeah, that was funny.
Like, you mess with babies, you got to change diapers. It's like, yeah, lady, no shit.
But yeah, I remember you literally made a comment like the first scene where they have sex, like I think it was like Tenoch. Yeah, Tenoch was first. You were like, yeah, this is literally like like porn dialogue.
I mean, it pretty much is. It's soft. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a step up from softcore porn because like you see nudity.
Yeah,
and you
it's
see,
not
like, shit.
exact. Yeah.
Like it's not like
Exactly.
like with sex scenes like that are in movies now. It's like the lighting's a little bit dim. The camera's moving around. It's more suggestive. This one, you literally see him like flopping like a fish on top of her. It's hilarious, but it's just like, god damn.
Yeah, it's just the only reason it's not
No camera
porn is
shake.
because you don't.
Still lighting.
It's just because there's right, and it's all in like one take.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
There's no jumping.
Yeah, I mean that's just like that's the only thing that makes it not porn is that like there's no genitals.
In the sex scenes, but you definitely see
Or
genitals in
that.
the movie.
Well, that's what I mean in the sex scenes.
Yeah. But
Yeah, but and you'd think someone who is like observantly religious like I am would not like this movie, but I don't know. Like it's something about it. It's just I don't find it like offensive at all. But also even like when I found out that my dad liked it, I was like, okay, more reason for me to like it. Well, not necessarily that he liked it. I remember like because he asked us what we were watching, and I'm like, oh, Tu Mamá También. He's like, oh yeah, I remember I saw that movie. Like he remembered like he didn't like he wasn't like what is it like like why are you watching that like.
It's just weird when you know like if I did that to my dad, like I told him about this movie because like sometimes I'll tell him I'll watch something, he'll never watch it, so it's fine. So I'll tell him I'll watch this movie, and if he was like, oh cool, I love that movie, I'm like, oh gross, fuck you.
Like no matter what movie it is.
No, like if it's that movie or something with like intense sex scenes, it's like weird. That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't watch it with your parents, so like it's just I don't know.
What's another movie like on this level? Like I can't even really. I mean, I haven't really seen many of movies like this, but
I don't
um,
know. I because
like
like all the sexual movies that I've seen, like I said, have just been like ridiculous. So like I could, it would be weird to watch with my parents, but it wouldn't actually be like feel like I'm watching porn with them. Because that's what this movie
right.
would feel like to me. I'm like, oh my god, this goes on for entirely too long. Like,
Yeah, I heard the Room is like that.
I remember I watched the girl with the dragon tattoo with my parents, and like there is a way too long sex scene in that movie, and we're all just sitting on the couch, and I recommended the movie because I thought it was good, and I I said that we should watch, and I forgot that scene was in there, so I'm sitting there, and they're looking at me like, you like this movie, and I'm like, fucking, fuck.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't there like a rape scene or something?
I I don't remember if it's a rape scene, but it's a pretty uncomfortable sexual scene that lasts for entirely too many seconds. But
Really?
I don't remember.
I I want to see that movie because it's David Fincher
It's a
and I like
good
his other
movie. It's
stuff.
legitimately a good movie. It's just it has weird
What?
scenes that I forgot about that were in it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about watching Zodiac. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have.
But the only problem, like with the other movie I wanted to watch, is that it's like that movie's like 3 hours long.
Yeah, that gets tough.
But there's movies like that where like my complaint, like really, like my only complaint is that like it's too long. But then again, like I watch it, I'm like, nothing seemed like out of place. So I'm like, in order to trim it down, like what do I trim out? Whereas like there's other movies where it's like clearly you could have taken out some stupid side plot that didn't need to be there.
Yeah, it's like they add it just for the sake of, being ridiculous or filling out their fantasy. It's just why? Why do you feel the need? I don't. Just like, can you just make a good movie without having to be extravagant or flamboyant? But
Yeah, and this movie wasn't. I mean, it was almost like flamboyant without even trying.
yeah, in the sense of
Like
just
the
being ridiculous, but also in that one scene. But no, I mean, I
But man, those like beach scenes, those were so relaxing.
yeah, it's a relaxing movie. That's what I'm saying. It's just
Yeah,
a
like
laid back movie.
I mean, I know it has a bunch of like stoner undertones, about
Yeah,
like the like finding myself and like and I mean, obviously like they smoke like pretty much the whole movie and like do other drugs and like a lot of the people are like lefties, they got like Che Guevara stuff and
oh,
all
that's
that.
right. I forgot that one scene. Yeah,
Yeah, there's like the lefty kind of stoner like commie undertones, but like it was honestly just like a backdrop in my like it didn't I mean it didn't bother me. Like I know
I mean,
some
I don't know why it
people
would bother
I don't
you. It's just a fucking. It just depicts it's not a commie movie.
no, I know. No, but some people would take it that way,
Oh,
which I mean,
whatever.
I well yeah, like I don't not saying it bothers you, but
Oh no,
um
it does.
right.
But I do like the one thing. I think I touched on this with the last Spanish movie that we watched, but like they just never have a happy ending. It's always either neutral or just dark. So like the
Yeah, that's why it's a different like cinema, which I respect.
I like that. I don't like happy endings, and not because I'm just I like to be
They have their
brooding. It's
place,
it's just
but
I don't know. It's just I like the
yeah.
contrast, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the I mean like they have their place obviously cuz some endings are happy, but then some endings just really aren't.
It's like, oh, that lady that jerked both of us off at the same time? Yeah, she has cancer now. She's dead. And then, oh yeah, we're never gonna
Yeah.
see each other after this.
Yeah, it's like, oh, she died. Yeah, but what was interesting is that like they didn't say like the narrator said that like they would never see each other again after like their last meeting. But that's telling of like a lot of friendships, that you have in high school where
Yeah.
it's like yeah, it's like my boy, but then it's like yeah, you realize when you get older, it's like eh, we weren't really that like we didn't really bond over that much, you know.
You know what's really funny, and this is because like I've grew up in the here in the same place that I live in. So it's always funny to see, most of my friends moved away to other places, other states, other jobs, whatever have you. And so the people that are still here that I know, it's just like, ugh, why are you still here? Like even though I'm still here, it's because I'm kind of forced to be. But it's just like other people that I know that are still here are just like classic burnouts, which is really funny to me. But
Oh, really?
the friendships don't last.
Yeah, I know. Um, but yeah, that's why I'm glad I'm not in New Orleans. But man, yeah, and the narrator, I wonder who that even was. You know,
I don't know. It didn't sound familiar.
yeah, there's always that little touch of mystery, like the Spanish mystery.
The
You know,
mystique. Yeah.
the mystique. Yes, exactly. Like a lot of that in Tu Mamá También. And then, do you count City of God as a Spanish movie?
I mean, I guess it's a Latin movie. I know they're Brazilian, but still, it has the same kind of
Yeah,
undertones. So yeah, I guess.
that had a much happier ending though.
Did it?
Well,
I
not
can't remember.
yeah. It was remember it was upbeat. They're playing like like they're playing like that upbeat funk song. Remember he found his new job, and he's like,
Oh, that's right. It
you know,
did.
he's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was a photographer, and he actually like got a legitimate photography job.
yeah, he made his way
Yeah.
out of the
Out of the.
City of God.
Yeah. Okay.
Which
Yeah.
I mean, things didn't end well for the other characters. Like I remember the Ginger got totally just like
You got fucked. Yeah.
he got smited by when they were driving in that car, and then he just got like sniped or something like that, and then his like the love interest she just kind of like faded out, and then like where the Lil Z got like shot by all the little kids.
Yeah. That part was refreshing to watch.
Oh yeah, and I love the kids in that movie, which typically the kids are like the worst part of the movie, but
Yeah.
the kids in that movie were like, "We run the streets now."
That
They
movie
were
was loosely
chilling.
based on a couple people, right? Real people.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to think like that's your life. It's like, oh fuck, the cartel shot your mom.
It might be a reality here sometime soon. You never know.
Oh yeah,
Stay
probably will be.
strapped, my brethren. But yeah, no, dude. I like a lot of the Latin movies more than I thought it would actually.
Yeah, I mean, I figured you'd like them because you've been very good at like being like, Will, I think you're gonna like this music, and I think I've been really good at being like, Jason, I think you're gonna like these movies.
Yeah, I mean I've always liked movies and I've watched a ton of them more than I realize, but I don't know. I feel like
But but I've shown you like the top tier, like the dank level of movies.
yeah, I like watching movies that are not well known, that are really good. Don't have high budgets but are just great stories. I do enjoy a really good story, whether it's music or writing or movie or, whatever the case may be. But
Yeah, no, we got plenty to go. Like Alfonso Cuarón, I was wanting to watch another one of his movies, Children of Men, which is excellent.
Children of Men.
Um, you know that one, right?
No.
It's where like there's like people aren't having children anymore. Or I don't remember if it's like they're not having or if like they can't have. So like a a, a baby hasn't been born in like 20 years, right? But then the main character like he finds like the last person on earth who can give birth, and she's pregnant. But then there's like a terrorist group that's trying to kill her, and yeah, and like it's a whole like chase kind of.
Huh. Kind of
And
dystopian. I
he
like
has to
that. That's cool.
yeah, it is very dystopian, and it's supposed to take place actually like around like what was supposed to be now, you know.
That's so fitting. It's like a Mexican Mad Max. Mad Max are all fighting for gas because there's not been a gas, and then Mexicans love having kids, so they're fighting for the last pregnant bitch.
No, it doesn't take place in Mexico.
No.
No, it takes place in England actually.
Oh. Well, damn. I thought the dots really connected there. That's disappointing.
No, the only other Spanish movie he did was Roma, which I would also like to watch. Very relaxing movie.
I feel like I've heard of Roma.
It's like the black and white. movie about like of like 70s Mexico.
Okay, that one was more popular, right? Because I feel like that was
Oh
playing in
yeah,
American
that
theaters.
yeah, it was. It had a much higher budget. It won a bunch of Oscars.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that. I never saw it, but I remember when everyone was talking about it. I said it was a good movie.
Yeah, that I think I needed to show you a little bit of like Latin stuff to get you to that. And I needed to show you some Latin stuff to get to this. I don't know if I could have just gone straight into Y Tu Mamá
I
También.
mean, I get the premise. You don't have to, warm me up to Latin shit. Like,
Nah, but if I'm trying to show someone like this is Latin cinema, like I wouldn't show them Y Tu Mamá También first.
well, I mean, it just depends on the genre. It's a comedy. Like, it's not a.
Yeah, true, but I would probably well, yeah. I mean, someone could say that like, oh well, Amores Perros is like that's like violent and chaotic. Like, why would you want to show them that? I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. But either way, I think City of God is the best introduction to Latin movie.
I do like that movie a lot. Also, like, I keep forgetting the name of this damn movie. Fucking, oh my god, the one where the guy and his girlfriend are trying. They're running from the cartel because he killed one of their bosses.
Oh yeah, we watched that.
What is that
Yeah,
movie called? I keep forgetting every time.
it's called Sin Nombre.
Yes, that one. I like that one a lot.
That one was okay. So like, what's the? Is that everything we've watched?
And then Babel too.
Did that? Oh yeah, the part of like a third of that movie was Spanish.
Yeah, but he was
So
also in that movie
it's
too.
oh yeah, because the directors of both of those movies are like buddies.
Yeah, yeah. I've a feeling
Um,
it's like a Seth Rogen thing. James Franco, Michael Cera, all those guys. It's their own
Yeah,
little habitat of movies.
yeah. So Alfonso, yeah. So Alfonso Cuarón, Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, and Guillermo del Toro are referred to as the Three Amigos.
I I
Guillermo
watched.
del Toro, he did like
No,
the
I know what he did. Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy. I'm well aware of him.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He's more mainstream, I think.
Yeah, he's big here. I was very disappointed because I love his like the makeup and the special effects and the monsters that he always has created for his movies. But I saw
Yeah.
some what was it? It was his Cabinet of Curiosity, or it was like a mini series, a bunch of like scary stories, but they were not good. I was very disappointed with it because I was excited to see that he directed them or wrote them or whatever the fuck he did, wrote them.
Oh,
Jeez,
they
I
were.
swear.
I never watched those.
Yeah, they're not good. So I was disappointed. But I loved Hellboy. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Um,
I have never seen either of those.
you've never seen Pan's Labyrinth or Hellboy?
No, I have seen Pan's Labyrinth. I was talking about Hellboy 1 or 2.
Oh, I think there's
Oh, actually,
a new one, but this
he
doesn't have Ron
didn't.
Perlman in it, so I didn't watch it. It looks bad. But
Actually, he didn't even do the first one. He only did the second one.
Guillermo del Toro?
Yeah, he only did the second one.
I thought he did both of them. Huh. Well, the second I do.
Oh, no, 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 no. I'm mistaken. I'm talking about. I was thinking of Blade. He didn't do Blade 1, but he did Blade 2.
Okay. I was supposed to say, I'm
And
pretty
I've not
sure
seen either of those either.
pretty sure he did all the Hellboys, but the Golden
Yeah, he
Army
did,
is a
he
great
did.
one. I
You're
love
right.
that one.
Yeah, I heard the visuals are really, really like.
They're cool as
he
fuck.
amps it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I want to watch it because like most like superhero movies at this point, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't interest me, but that does.
Yeah. No, it's a great story.
Um,
It's very, very cool and interesting. And like I said, if you're into his mystical world of machines and monsters and all that shit, and really cool, esoteric visuals, it's definitely the movie for you.
Yeah, I'm not that keen on Pan's Labyrinth. Surprisingly enough.
It's okay. Like I said, I really more like it for the visuals and all the stuff in it. I don't. The storyline is all right, but Hellboy is definitely a better movie.
Yeah, I like it. Oh, the same girl from this movie was in that.
What is her name?
Maribel Verdú is her name.
Okay. Yeah, I remember.
She was like I think it was her mom or her aunt, like the main girl's mom or aunt.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then like what else? Like,
You know what movie I watched the other day with my dad that was like really bad but kind of funny at the same time?
what?
Cocaine Bear.
Coke? Yeah, is that how is that?
It's I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's way over the top for the sake of being over the top. So some of the parts are funny, but some of them are just really cringy. I didn't know they were actually gonna make a story out of it. I thought it was literally just gonna be like a monster thing where just a bear just runs around, killing people with shitty acting. Like I was like, how can you really make a story out of it? But they actually like made a whole background of the guys and the dealers that did the drug dealer that died dropping the coke out of the plane, which that was a true story. And then the guys that went to go down to Georgia to go get it, that part was all fake. And then the bear actually going around a rampage was fake. In real life, it like ate a kilo of it and died of a heart attack like 45 minutes later.
Ha! But did it do like crazy shit?
No, it literally ate it and died. That's what I'm saying. They took
Oh.
like one thing of a guy, he like was jumping out of the plane, and then he knocked himself out on the top fucking part of it, and then like landed in someone's driveway in Tennessee. Like that part was real.
Well, I mean, you gotta get creative.
Yeah, but it was, I don't know, like it was trying way too hard to be. It kind of did the Marvel thing, where it tried way too hard to be funny, but some parts were actually so ridiculous it was funny, and some other parts were just cringy. So it depends. But I like Ice Cube's son. He was in it, so that was good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like him.
I like the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think they're funny, but
Yeah.
other than that, like most of the Marvel humor is just so like forced.
Yeah, it's very forced.
It's like banter. Like, okay. Or actually, have you seen the show Invincible?
No.
The banter in that show is so hilarious.
Invincible.
Yeah, the animated superhero show.
Oh, okay.
Very, very funny. Like lots of sex jokes. That's kind of why it's bumped up from Marvel, because they can say a lot more like crazy shit.
Yeah, I think Deadpool is like their only claim to fame for raunchy humor.
But even that isn't even really that like raunchy, right?
I mean, not
I've
really.
never seen it. I mean, I think Deadpool's annoying anyways.
Yeah, if you don't
I
like
can't
Ryan
s-
Reynolds,
Yeah, I
the
cannot
singer,
stand
you're
Ryan Reynolds. He's so annoying.
but
But
I mean, it's rated R, so it has your typical violence and sex and blah blah blah. But it's I don't know. I feel for me, I think it's tame because I'm just used to the shit. I'm so desensitized to weird stuff now. It's just a day at the movies. But
yeah, but I mean, like, I went like a long time because like there's just certain things where I just don't really enjoy it anymore. So that's why like I mean like something like this kind of movie like Tu Mamá También is potent, right? Um,
yeah, it's nostalgic for some reason to me.
you mean like and like unintentionally?
Yeah, unintentionally nostalgic. Also,
Yeah,
it
right.
reminds me because I feel like I don't know if you probably haven't gotten to this age yet, even though I'm not that fucking much older than you, but like it's one of those days where I
Right.
feel like my best days are behind me, so it's like I'm always reminiscing about shit that I've done in the past. So watching movies like these always just remind me of how much fun that I had when I was younger, or how much more free I felt even I wasn't as free as I am now. So it's one of those types of deals where you just like you watch the movie, then you're walking home and it's just like, damn man, I'm really not doing anything interesting right now. Going through my quarter life crisis.
The quarter life crisis.
Quarter life crisis.
I just yeah, I mean that's I mean obviously I have some moments like that in my life, but it just feels nostalgic. Just I don't know the way it is the way it talks about like remember there was like the grandma who was like telling how she had this like the doll from when she was like a baby,
Yeah.
right? Like that. Just I just like that theme of like the growing old and like just coming to grips with certain things.
Yeah, they
Um,
throw in a lot of moral stuff. Um,
yeah,
in the
not all
movie.
stoner,
Yeah.
because like the grandma having the little doll that wasn't really stoner. Um, but yeah, it was also just like like they see the different kinds of people because there's the contrast from like Mexico City to like the countryside.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cows and like the quinceañeras.
The part that was
um,
weird to me was the when they were driving through that small town and There's a bunch of people in the streets blocking the car, and they basically wanted to make a donation to their queen. They just like held up some girl in a princess dress. Like, I don't know if that's
Yeah, it
part of
was
the
the
quinceanera. Was that part of
yeah,
it?
it was a quinceanera.
Okay.
Yeah. Um.
I've never been to one. That's why I was asking.
Neither have I.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I like when they
it's
throw
just
in the subtle like real life stuff in there, not just ridiculous comedy. Because I feel like a movie
yeah.
when it's a movie like that, you know, they have to do the American sensationalism. They have to make it like ridiculous, over the top, or they have to be like really melodramatic and sad, and you know have the piano playing in the background. Like it's either of those two extremes. They can't throw in subtlety with anything, or if they do, it's super serious and it's really boring. Like, did you see Oppenheimer? Because I still am like refusing to watch it.
No, I did not.
Because like I just don't know how interesting you can make that movie really.
um. um. Yeah, I mean, this movie is just so like the soundtrack is great. The actual just accompanying music is great. It just feels real, and it's just, and also I just like the Latin American aesthetic. Um, like it's not trippy, but it's like it's just very like ambient. Lots of like animals. Um, yeah,
Yeah, and I remember mentioning to you when we were watching, I was like, I could see this totally happening, you know, in real life,
right. Yeah,
especially because when I was, you know, I, I made the joke like every time like women get cheated on, they always have to go and fuck someone that's a lot younger than them because like men do it because we're just, you know, you just innately feel that way. You're going through your midlife crisis, so like you have to get the sports car, you have to try to find a 25-year-old to date and do the Leonardo DiCaprio thing. But like women have to get cheated on first to do that, I think. Because I
Oh,
remember,
did he? Did Leonardo DiCaprio do that?
well, no, the joke on him is that he just like he won't date anyone like older than 26. I think like people are legitimately looking at all the women that he's dated, none of them were older than 26.
Isn't he like 50 at this point?
Yeah, he's getting up there. So, but because I
Um,
remember when I was working in a restaurant, I was walking around bar backing or serving when I was 18, and there were a lot of like depressed fucking like mid-30s women that pretty much were just like groping me and shit. It was really weird. I had to like endure a bunch of weird shit. I felt like a Hooters girl or something, but it was always like a marriage falling apart or someone got cheated on or you know fighting over the kids, blah 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 blah, all that. So it was that energy of like fuck it. I you know if I was a little bit more meticulous, I probably could plan a road trip with someone twice my age.
yeah, dude. If only I had shown you this movie earlier.
With no desire. But
Right. Yeah, and then I like how the the husband was totally like a wannabe Andrew Tate type.
yeah, I love how they were just fucking with him too. They just kept like messing with him, kept bumping into him, spilling wine on his suit.
Yeah, right. No, and then they find out that like that's his wife. They're like, "Oh shit," and they think it's like even funnier.
Wait, isn't she one of their cousins too?
By marriage, not like
Oh, okay,
not blood. No.
because I remember they were making a joke out of it, and I couldn't remember if it was by marriage or if
Yeah.
there was actually blood cousin. So I thought it was funny.
No. Hano, who was Louisa's husband, was Tenosh's first cousin.
I'm so bad with family lineages in English, so you know,
Oh, okay.
let alone
Well, like just, but like I don't know if there's a title for the person your cousin marries, because they're not your cousins.
yeah, I don't know. I don't. I like I said, lineage is not something that comes to me easily. I have to literally do an adult coloring book of it to, you know, I have to visualize it to see it. So
I just
I
get
understand.
lost after like the. I understand second and third cousins, but like I get lost when it turns into like the once removed, twice. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's just. I mean, at some point you're like, who
Other than
gives a
that,
fuck?
I can follow, but I think it's cool because like the my mom has a big family tree of the priest from her parish when she was a little girl, and it's so cool. You could see because like he was Belgian, and, like they had the family tree so far back, and they had like all had like one common ancestor at the root. It was really cool looking.
Hmm.
Um,
Is it like a physical printout that you have hanged or something?
it's we could have it. It's like it's something that like is designed to be like hung up like in a frame or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know where it is, but it's a cool thing, and it's also a cool thing for his legacy. Um, yeah, he was really important to us.
Like, look what my one nut did after generations.
Yeah, dude, it's powerful.
You
It's
never
the
know.
butterfly effect, man. The butterfly effect.
Shit. But
Yeah, but I want to look more at the behind the scenes of this movie and like how they actually like filmed all of this crazy stuff.
yeah, I want to know how many takes it like just in most movies in general.
Yeah,
How many takes does it get? Like, you have to get over the awkwardness of doing that.
I know, because it's like, do you want to do it? Do you not want to do it? Do you want to do it, but then you feel like bad that you want to do? I don't know.
It's like I remember being 18 and like filming myself having a fucking sex scene for a movie would not be on a top list that of things that I would do. Like, that's super weird.
I mean, then again, if you pay me like a bajillion dollars, I guess I'll do it because like I'm not putting myself in any sort of like harm that would scare me. Like I don't want to do any like stunts or anything like that. But
I think I would rather do a stunt than a fucking sex scene.
really,
Yeah, because that I can wrap my head around. Like that, I'm more focused and I can actually like enjoy it and like try to be safe with it. But like, dude, my mind would race. Like, it's
what about like would you get naked for a movie?
see, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just weird. Like, it's like the fact that
It
like you're
is
supposed to
no,
fake having an intimate moment when, because like I lost my virginity when I was 18, so it's like. Like, now I think I would be fine. I wouldn't give a shit now, but like back then I'd be like, no, I don't want to be naked and do like fake a sex scene for a movie.
yeah, no, that is a good point.
Yeah, now I don't give a fuck.
But like, what is like the well, also like these scenes were graphic and like they did some stuff. Like it wasn't just like the thing; it was like other stuff besides the thing.
Other stuff besides the thing. Would you care to elaborate?
Like it wasn't just like sex. Like they were doing a bunch of other crazy stuff. Like that I
Like,
probably remember like that last scene where they're like the three of them.
yeah,
Imagine rehearsing for that.
that one. Okay, yeah, no, I
Yeah,
like
that was weird.
like it's just the fact that let's take out the other person in the equation, right? So let's just say I'm supposed to stand there and pretend like I'm being blown on camera. So like it's got a side profile of my face, and I'm standing there like trying this, like, the perception of me
But
faking
the
like
other
a
thing,
it's just ugh.
but the other thing is like they were all like in one take, and it's very impressive because like there's no cuts, no like close-ups on the face. It's all just like you just see it, right? So, but it's like whereas like if there was cuts and edits, like certain things like you don't have to, certain things like you only need to do it for like 1 second, right? And then you just get that shot and then it's done. So like
All I know, it would take me probably like 50 tries because like I feel like when I do it, my face, I look like I'm dead. So it's like I would have to like do 100 takes to get my face right for this fucking stupid scene. It's supposed to last 5 seconds or whatever. I
right.
gotta work on my nut face. Like, bro, no, thank you.
You got to coach for that.
Yeah, dude, it's just like
Right.
you'd have to like legitimately like bring in someone to. No, anyway. So, like,
What if no, but what if someone paid you like so much money you would never ever have to work ever again?
fine, I would stomach it, I guess. I would not like how do you build a career? I guess I agree with you before. Like, how did those two build a movie career after that? That's impressive to me.
Right, because that's so, and they've also been like in stuff that isn't like they've been in kids movies,
Yeah,
like Gael Garcia Bernal voiced like one of the characters in Coco, and then like Diego Luna was in Star Wars, right?
yeah, he was.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's not
By the way, that show's fucking
typical.
awful too. I watched it because he was in it. It's so boring.
Oh, I didn't even see the show. I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about like Rogue One, which I don't even like that either. But
Wait, he was in Rogue One too. Oh, he
yeah,
was in
that's
Rogue
what like
One.
the yeah,
I didn't
that's
like
what
that movie either.
right, exactly. But that's like what the show is based off of his character in that movie.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well,
But
I
is
hated
the
both of them.
movie the show is really like that bad? I didn't have any interest in watching. Like the only ounce of interest was just because he was in it.
Yeah. Obviously, Narcos is my opinion the best character that he's played. But
Yeah, I love him in Narcos. Um, what other stuff has he done? He's done like wait, let me look him up right now.
dude, on a side
'Cause he's
note
like
for Narcos, I don't know why I've talked to a couple people um that are Spanish or they're actually Colombian, and like they think that show like glorifies the narco lifestyle, and I'm like, I don't see how it
yeah, but
glorifies it.
yeah,
It
but
quite
also
clearly
I'm
shows
like
all the consequences of being one and like what happened to its full. Obviously, a lot of it's fictionalized and dramatized for TV, but I like it didn't. To me, it doesn't have a glorifying aura to it.
no, and it's also like it's more about like also
Especially the
like I know some
Mexican
people.
one.
Oh yeah, and also like some people, yeah, more so the Mexican one.
Yeah, it's like you saw
But
like how
but
Kiko or Kiki died. That was awful.
yeah, that was
It
brutal.
showed Felix's
Um,
descent into fucking madness and what eventually killed him, or not killed him. What eventually led him to go to jail.
yeah, I haven't got to that part.
You still haven't finished it
I,
yet? My God.
no, I only watch like an episode maybe like once every 2 weeks. Um,
Man,
but no, but also like when people say like, oh well, it's not like authentic, and I'm like, first of all, like yes, it is. Like they film on location, they have local music, they have like good actors, you know. But also I'm like it's also like told from the point of view of the DEA and like the American like people that were there. It's not like just told through like the Spanish point of view, you know.
yeah.
Like that's what, and I like that element how they show how it's told through like you know like the narrators are even like DEA agents,
Yeah, no, like
right?
I
And
said,
like
it clearly
right and
shows the situation of what happened. Obviously, not to the T historically, because they can't. Well, not that they can. It's just
right, but
it wouldn't
also
be good
like
TV. But
well, first of all, I don't think it glorifies it, but also like
no, I don't either.
even if they do like well, yeah, I mean, it's just like any gangster movie. You know, they show them as like they're cool, like kind of guys or whatever. But like that's also like how the DEA, like I said, it's told through their perspective. So that's probably how they saw these people. You know,
Well, also
because
too,
they
it's just
didn't.
like I hate this trope, especially like with the Nazi thing. So it's like every time they portray people that are not supposed to be good. Like I hate that where they just make them be total, like I don't even know the word. Just
Just
yeah,
assholes.
like it's very clear for the mouth breathers that they're not a good character, so they have to put them in scenarios that makes them look really bad all of the time. Like there's no nuance in it. I hate that so much. So I guess
Yeah,
in their
right. Like
minds, it's glorifying it if you don't show the bad characters, not being cool all the time.
right. Um, no, but no, Narcos isn't, and it's also like it's showing the people going after them, right? It's not like saying that what these narcos are doing is a good thing.
Yeah. Plus, it was like super violent. It was a lot. It was really sad at a lot of points too. Like it clearly showed the fucking like consequence. Like I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
I hate the excuse that any form of entertainment that depicts anything violent or bad is just glorifying it. Like that shit's
No, it's
so
just
played
because
out and
like
tired. Ever
oh yeah,
since Columbine, like it's a tired narrative.
everyone just like wants an excuse to be offensive,
Yeah.
and like yeah, but yeah, Felix. Sorry, it's not Felix. Diego Luna is a great actor.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, I still like the Colombian show better.
I think like as a character, Pablo Escobar is a lot easier to adapt to TV because he did more ridiculous shit. The Mexican
Right.
one was just like that one was more brutal. That was just raw. Like that was I think obviously the Colombian one was sad, but I think the Mexican one is probably a lot more sad, and especially because today it still has a lot more lasting implications. 'Cause I would say I would say
Well, it's
Colombia is
worse
probably in a
now,
better
right?
situation than Mexico was back then. So like I feel like Mexico is worse now than it is compared to Colombia.
Yeah, even though they just elected a communist again.
Colombia?
Yeah, but I mean that's the cycle of those countries.
Oh well.
Like they're good for like 20 years and then it just happens all over again.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. I mean like the shit in Mexico is worse.
Yeah, so I mean, and it clearly shows that because the Mexican one is way more brutal than the Colombian one.
Yeah, like the violence in the Colombian one was just like there's just shootouts, you know.
Yeah.
I mean there was like violent stuff. Like I remember I mean there's some torture scenes and stuff like that. But which I know that there's people that like crazily and like just disgustingly enough like get off to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all the snuff films and shit. Yeah.
Right, like they say like it's torture porn and stuff like. Well, I know like you don't. It doesn't necessarily mean that's what you like, but like that's the people just have like a weird like, just like glorification. Like they think like they just like the glorification of torture.
And that's why it always makes me question the motives of these directors because at some point it's not just artistic freedom, and I guess if it's a continued pattern from movie to movie, because but then again, you can take that with literally anything. That means like you can't show anything that's raw because of the implications of it being glorified by people that actually get off to it. So I don't know. I guess you just have to toe the line, and it depends on how much you actually depict versus the story that you're trying to tell.
Well, yeah, there's creeps and weirdos like there. That's always gonna be a thing,
Yeah.
but like that should that shouldn't prevent someone from making like a great film. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just depends on how much it shows it and how many times it happens in different movies versus, is it necessary for the story or not? Because people were always making that the depict or the debate about rape scenes in movies. So it's like it doesn't have to be added into the movie to make it a better story. Um,
Right, where it's like, what's the purpose that it's actually
yeah,
serving?
unless it
Which
actually
is a
happened.
that's a fair question. Yeah.
Yeah, like unless it's
Right.
like historically happened or it's whatever the story is, but there's very like different ways to tell it. Obviously, you don't have to physically show it, or you can allude to it rather than just in your face. But
Right. But
like
that's
for example
also like
like in it like there's a rape like a pretty prominent rape scene in the book, but they didn't depict it in the movie.
right. But also like that's kind of like I didn't think the rape scene in The Revenant was like necessary.
Yeah, because that was just more to show the brutality or the over exaggerated. Well, not over exaggerated because it probably was that bad. Well, I know it was that bad back then. Probably way worse than what's depicted, but just to show that point, I guess that's what I'm saying. So like, if it's supposed to illustrate a point, fine. But if it actually doesn't add to the story, then I guess it doesn't matter, or you shouldn't show it. But I
Right.
don't know. I'm always hesitant about saying you can and can't do things, but obviously like
Well, I'm not saying like you can't, but it's just not good. Um. Yeah. But like I mean like the most brutal shit in like the Colombian one was like when Pablo flipped out. Remember, because when he thought those guys were like stealing from him, that was like that was raw. And then you just saw this like he was breathing so heavily, you saw like this snot like coming out. That was gross.
yeah, he definitely gave it his all for a lot of those scenes.
Yeah, dude, that guy's Wagner Moura's performance is incredible.
I still think it's impressive. He spoke no Spanish before that movie, or before that series.
Yeah, and his accent is like pitch perfect.
Although people were shitting on his accent, like especially like in
No,
the
it's good.
in the one in especially in the
No,
Mexican Narcos one too. People are like the accents are not accurate for the region that they're supposed to be from.
no, but I mean Pablo's. I mean that's true of some people in the show, but like Pablo specifically, if you listen to recordings of the actual Pablo Escobar, he sounds like identical. It's almost like scary.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. People were always bitching, but I think
Yeah, and his performance is just so commanding.
yeah,
Like that's just the ideal like best actor performance, you know. Which I think he won a an Emmy for that. I mean, if he didn't, I would be mad. But
Yeah, you should. You deserved it.
let me see. Wagner Moura Emmy Awards. Wagner Moura.
I think when I was
Let
looking
me see.
for the people that were judging the accents in the show, the one they said had the most authentic, best one was the guy that played Amato. Wherever region of Mexico they said he was from, they said his accent was pretty spot on.
Yeah, because I think he actually is from there.
He may have been. I don't know.
Whereas, like, not actually a lot. Like, a lot of the people in Narcos Colombia weren't even Colombian.
It makes sense.
I mean, some of them were. Like, I remember Gustavo, his cousin was Colombian. His mom, no, his mom was Chilean actually. Um, but then, no, but like I was still happy with the accents. I mean, I know I'm not necessarily the best judge, but
I can't really.
uh,
I can kind of tell, but I still am not picking up on it. You know, from not speaking the language, but I can clearly tell that. I mean, to me, it almost just sounds like it's just different people's voices. You know what I mean? There's not a group of people I think sound the same in the show, so I don't know. Like I can clearly tell like the North Mexican accent, but I can't differentiate that between like other Mexican accents. I don't know.
I can to an extent. Like I can obviously tell like the Tijuana, like border town accents,
Yeah,
as opposed to like the Jalisco accent and like the southeast accents are more like Guatemala and El Salvador.
yeah.
Um, no, but there's actually a ton. You'd be surprised.
Like I know in English, the one I can tell is if like if someone's Spanish and they're from Texas versus Los Angeles, like that's a distinctive accent that I can tell for Spanish
Dude, I
speakers.
I cannot fucking stand like LA like liberal Hispanics. Like those people are so irritating.
Why? What's irritating about them?
No, it's just cuz like they like just well, yeah, the way they talk is annoying, but also like they're just like I just don't vibe with these people.
I mean, what do you mean you
They're
don't?
all like they're all like narcissistic, don't have the same values. Like I don't understand like what I'm supposed to like about them.
I think it's funny. I think the accent's funny, but I do like the. I think I like the Texas Latino accent better. I can't do it. I wish I could do it because like if I tried, they're all gonna sound the same. But the Texas one has this. God, who the fuck is blending something out there? Shut up.
Wait, is that the one that's like more stereotypical?
I
Or it's like the like Speedy Gonzalez or some shit.
no. I wish I could fucking have an example, but I think the LA one is probably more of a stereotypical, but the Texas one is like
No, but there's like Rango makes fun of that. Like there's the accent where it's like and I said to him, I let you kiss my sister. Like shit like that.
no. That's more like
I
old
can't
school. I don't know. I can't because
yeah,
I
but
can't
that's
do it.
like
I can't
tech that's
describe it.
yeah, then that's like Texas though, like old school like Texas Mexico.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm referring
Well
to.
cuz
It's like the modern.
well cuz for a well cuz for a while that whole region was like they wasn't really established like is this part of America or Mexico yet.
Yeah,
There's a lot of like mixing of the cultures.
yeah, yeah. I'm definitely not talking about the old school one.
Yeah. No, but like I mean the Spanish speaking world in general is a bajillion accents.
Yeah, and I wish like that's why I really want to learn it so I can because I love accents. I love different types of colloquial stuff. So I really want to pick up on the different accents and like I'm starting to get there, but it's still like in its infancy. It still kind of blends in my head, but I'm really trying to listen specifically for different inflections because I love it.
Yeah, to an extent that's still there just cuz it's not my native language. Um but like the most distinct ones in my opinion are like the Dominican. Sometimes like I absolutely cannot understand what those people are saying.
Because they speak so goddamn fast.
Well, when they're not speaking with other Dominicans, they speak like at my pace. But yeah, when they're just speaking amongst each other, it's like, yeah, it's so fast.
I mean, I mean, obviously it's anecdotal, but all the Dominicans I know still spoke fast to me in English.
Yeah, that's true. And Cubans just sound like they have like a big like just like rubber ball in their mouth, and they can't pronounce the letter S.
All the Cubans that I know were like um, first generation, so or second. I can't always get the one where their parents are immigrants, but they're American. So for
That's first,
first,
yeah.
see, if there's a lot of first generation, so like they kind of have an accent, but they don't. I don't know, I've never, obviously, because my brothers know a lot of Cubans living in Florida, but they all just sound like regular accents to me, but like a little bit twangier and a little bit kind of Spanish. I don't know.
Yeah, the Caribbean accents all have like that twang.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like Argentina just sounds like Spanish in an Italian accent.
It really does.
Have you ever heard that, yeah, like Messi when he speaks Spanish?
A long time. I don't remember what he sounds like.
I mean, he actually is. I think he's like half Italian anyways. But yeah, they just sound like it like just Italians speaking Spanish.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think 60% of the entire country has at least like one drop of Italian blood.
I mean, they're so close to each other. You'd figure everyone's always has a drop of whatever different country around them.
No, but that's a lot. 60% having at least like one percentage.
Yeah, I guess it is a
That
lot.
is yeah, no, cuz I don't even think there's any like ethnicity in America that has that.
What I mean, 60. I mean, probably no. You would think
Yeah, I don't think there's
Native American. I think a lot of people have Native American ancestry or
60% of the
African.
country though.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I actually don't know the number. I'm actually kind of. I'll be curious to. Curious.
I am actually yeah, now that you're saying that, you might not actually be wrong cuz I mean, I according to ancestry, like I am 1 to less than 1% Mexican Indian. So,
Yeah.
who knows, you know?
I'm actually kind of look that up. I'm kind of curious what the highest. I don't even know how I would pose that question. What's the highest ancestral lineage of America? Because
I know like before, I think like in 19 not that long ago, like more than half the like 3/4 of the country could like trace their lineage to the Mayflower
interesting. Let's
cuz those people had like so many kids.
let's see.
The birth rate was some like, I mean, obviously, they needed a bunch of kids, because they needed to like sustain their population because they didn't have a lot of people, but like they had so many kids, man.
They do be fucking.
Yeah, they do.
So it says there are 5.2 million American Indians and Alaska Natives, making up approximately 2% of the U.S. population. There are 14 states with more than 100,000. This doesn't quite answer what I'm looking
But
for.
also like, uh, I'm willing to bet like a huge percentage of that is just people that are like, oh, I'm Native American, and then they're only like, it's like Elizabeth Warren, you know,
Okay, so only 2.9% of the total population, I think, if I'm reading this right. I don't know if that's
of
Native.
America
I don't know if
and
it's Native
Canada.
Americans or it's people that have Native American lineage. Um, okay, I think it's just 2.9% of the population, which is extremely low. Jeez.
Yeah, that is
They're
not a
saying,
lot.
oh, okay, never mind.
I think German is like the most claimed like ancestry, but I don't know if that's the same thing.
Maybe.
There's a bunch of
What if
Germans.
I'm 1%? What the fuck is this question? What if I'm 1% Native American? 1% DNA matching the Native American region on an ethnicity estimate would mean that the 100% indigenous American ancestor is about 6 to 8 generations back in your family tree.
6 to 8 generations.
That's what it says, yeah. If you're 1%.
Okay, so then like one generation back is just your parents, right?
Yeah.
So that's great, 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 great grandfather.
Yeah. Wrap your head around
That's
it.
not that. That's actually like not that far back as you think. Because I assumed like 1% would have been like like way back.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
How do I prove my Indian heritage? How much Indian heritage do I need to get benefits?
Bruh. Yeah, I knew some shit would be because like
Am I
that's what I
indigenous if I'm
said.
Mexican?
Some of them are, yeah.
Do Native Americans have to pay taxes? Can anyone live on an Indian
Depends.
reservation?
I think if you're on the reservation, you don't have to.
Yeah, I assume reservations don't pay taxes because they're independently recognized as their own state.
Yeah, some of them are like their own like nations. Like the Navajo Nation, I think is big enough. It's like its own country.
I think there's a lot of push to get because I know Oklahoma gave a shit ton of land back to whatever I can't remember the tribe that's there. They're the largest tribe that is represented there. Um, but in Virginia, there's a couple tribes because around here there's so many native tribes under Chief Palatine, but they all spoke a version of I can't even remember the language. My God, whatever the whatever the language is, but there are a bunch of different tribes. So I think there's three main ones that are around like the Richmond area, kind of east of it.
Who were the Indians here? Was it like
There's the
the
Pamunkey.
Iroquois?
That's what I'm saying. It's confusing. Well, not confusing. It's a little bit difficult because there were a million different tribes that were united under
Right.
Palatine. So I don't know like
But the Iroquois are pretty big, right?
it's like a broad term. I think I'm dude. I'm spending so long since I've learned this. I'm
But
trying
like geographically, where were the Iroquois?
I think they were in the. Let me just look it up. Where were the Iroquois?
I just like that
They were
word.
like
It's
in
cool.
the like Ontario, New York, Pennsylvania is like the northeast.
Oh, is that who sold us New York?
I don't know.
Because I know we like there's some tribe like sold it to us.
Probably
Um, but then like where were the Wampanoag? What about them?
the Wampanoag.
Yeah, you never heard of the Wampanoag?
I mean, no, I don't think so.
I know like all the names, but like I don't really know where they were geographic. I know like the Navajo were like
It's like
in New
Southwest.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those people actually like they're very like ethnically similar to Mexicans.
Interesting.
And
Algonquian.
then
Jesus, that's what I was trying to say.
Algonquin, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Virginia.
Well, that's like that was massive, and that was what I was saying. That tribe like had a bunch of different like little tribes underneath,
Right.
and so there was a bunch. I think like they traced down the one from Pocahontas. I think was Pamunkey. I think that was the tribe that she was technically from. I think individually.
That movie is terrible.
Yeah.
That movie is really bad.
Those are the Palatines too, but that was just directly under Chief Palatine. But he did. I know he did unite a bunch of different tribes. But
I mean, that movie has some good songs in it, but it has some really good songs actually, but it's such a bad movie. Like Pocahontas is so boring.
yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
Especially how
but
it's not even anywhere near the actual story too.
yeah, and also like what I don't like about it, which like you'd think would be a good thing, is that like it doesn't really favor either side. Like it kind of shows that like it's morally neutral, which you know it's something that like you think would be good, but like it ends up like like both like the Europeans and like the natives are just depicted as like assholes. Like you
Yeah.
don't like either of them. So I'm like, who am I rooting for? Like they're both like they're just like savages. Like they're both calling each other. It's like they're both like hateful and like you don't like. I'm like what? Just pick like I would rather watch something where it's like the other side is the good guy. Like I would honestly rather see that than what I saw in that movie.
I know.
Yeah. Um. And she talks to a tree or some shit. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was just like I said, more just sensationalist nonsense.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
but actually, that That era of Disney movies, I actually like those. Like Lion King, I think is excellent. Um, what else? Like Mulan, I really love.
Mulan was great. I did like Mulan.
Yeah, Mulan is banging. Um,
Oh, so here it is. All right, so this is by 1607. So Chief Powhatan, he basically ruled an alliance of 28 to 32 tribes under Seneko Moko. I butchered the fuck out of that. Senoko Moko.
Sonoko Moko.
Senoko Moko, that was what it was called for the alliance of all these tribes. So the Paw Monkey, Arohatic, the Appomattox, the Yucatan, and the Mattapony were the ones that were in Virginia, and I think the Paw Monkey was the one where Pocahontas was, if I remember. But I was trying to remember the word
Pocahontas.
that he called because it was like his land that he ruled around these all these alliances of tribes. But he was only a leader of like 4 to 6 of them.
And then who? Oh yeah. And then who was like the Sequoia? Remember him? Like what tribe was he in?
Sequoia.
Yeah, he's the guy who. Oh, he was Cherokee. He was Cherokee.
I always think it's funny that every time some white dude says they have a smidgen of ancestral Native American DNA, it's always Cherokee or Dakota or
Is
some
it?
shit or Lakota.
Is it really?
I think so.
It.
Every time people always tell me that it's always Cherokee or some nonsense.
I have a friend who. He's like a sixth Native American, and his parents gave him a Native American name, which I think is pretty cool. But it's funny, and he even jokes about it. He thinks it's a little ridiculous. Like he's like the whitest guy. And he has like a Native American name, and he's like, yeah, it's not the typical name you come across, you know. He's like, especially based on how I look, you wouldn't think that's my name. Like
Yeah,
he just looks like Joe.
dude, people are so ridiculous with it though. I swear.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was telling you. Like, I bet all of like the 5 million Native Americans, a bunch of big percentage of that is just people that are like just partially or like barely even like Elizabeth Warren with like, oh, I'm Native American, right? And then it's like, that you just put that in on the census, and then it's like,
Yeah, that's why all the data is so fucking inaccurate. It was like, where do we get our statistics from? It's like from the Census Bureau. It's not a very reliable source. Like, when's the last time you filled out a fucking census? Dude, I don't think I've ever
how
filled one out.
often, yeah, how often do we do that?
I don't know. Like, I feel like it's not that often. Let's see, how often
Or maybe they
do
just
you
do it
fill?
like by spying on us. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't even have to consent. You just take all your data. Okay, so it's every 10 years.
Every 10 years.
I
Okay.
believe so. The
And like is like
2023
they
census
send it.
test concluded on April 4th. We are no longer collecting response. So like, yeah, I didn't even do it. So just who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, how do they collect this shit? Like what?
My dad did it one time, and I was looking at it, but like after that, it's just like I'm never. If it's voluntary, I'm never gonna fucking fill it out. Who would do that? Like,
I don't
yes,
know. I
please.
mean,
Let's
if it
sell this
was
to insurance companies in 10 years. It sounds great.
no,
They
I
can
mean,
have
there's
my
certain
DNA
things
too.
about.
Like,
Well, there's certain things like about me, like where I'm like, I would be happy to say that like I am what I am.
yeah, I mean, that's
Like
where it should
for
stop, though.
in like, wait, what do you mean?
Like saying that and then moving on with your life,
Oh yeah. Like wait, but like when it comes to like the census or
I mean, I don't give a shit. Like, people always think statistics are a cut and dry thing or it's not to be questioned. It's just the way they collect data is so fucking inaccurate because it's like voting. Like, 30,000 people wrote in Harambe for president. Like, there's no. I,
oh yeah.
I don't know if they. Because I haven't looked at the thing. I assume they have to have some calculated margin of error. Or if they're not, then they're not being transparent about it. Or people just don't realize that. Or they're making it seem like it's not as obvious because people just say, oh, look at the statistics, bro. The crime rates, bro. The birth rates, bro. Like, all that shit. And, like, obviously, it's not where they get all of the data. I know that. But
Right.
a lot of
They pull
statistics
from
come
different
from the
places, but
census that people don't realize. But like the census is such a fucking inaccurate way to collect data. It really is.
well, also like even if it's true, or like if some like political campaign is like using like statistics, to like push like an agenda or something, like what they're saying could be technically true, but like there's a lot of it can be misleading. Like when they say that, like for when like anti-gun stuff comes out, like they'll say like, well, like guns are the leading cause of deaths among like people aged 15 to 19, right? And but it's like they're not specifying homicides, like they're just saying deaths, right? So like they no one's like the average like stupid person is not going to be thinking about like that includes suicides as well,
Yeah.
so like they like I mean like right, like what you're saying is true, but also like if it is like if these statistics are true, they can just be like misleading, or like if when people say like like half the marriages in a year end in a divorce, it's like, well, they don't take into account like marriages that like didn't start that same year and stuff like it's just
I
it's
just
very manipulating.
that's why I hate when people just spout off facts like that, air quote, because no one ever thinks
Facts,
about how insanely difficult it is to get accurate information, especially when we live in a place that constantly feeds, everyone claims the other side is misinformation. So unless you physically did the shit yourself, like it's, I don't know, just take everything with a grain of salt. Like you just really know to know how accurate. I honestly think the most accurate is what the fucking advertisers get from our social media, because they literally get money based off of that data. Like data science is massive if they get, most of it's collected by force. So
Right,
I would
yeah.
say that's more accurate than making people fill out a fucking survey.
But yeah, I wonder when it's gonna come in the mail.
I don't know. Like I
This
said, I don't even know
census.
if they do them anymore.
Yeah, but then I'm like, how the fuck do they just collect it from like social media now and like spying on us?
I don't know. Because I think they do multiple surveys, so I don't know. Like I don't I've never filled one. I've seen my dad fill one out, but I've never fill one out or heard people. I've never heard people talk about it either. Like no one ever talks about it.
Really?
Yeah, like I
Yeah, no, yeah, it's exactly like I've never even really thought about that.
it's just like I don't know.
But yeah, that's why I don't like to just say, especially like when I'm debating. So I never like to go like, "That's a fact," right? Or like, "That's like like the study says this," and I'm like, yeah, even if the study was like correct, like someone can always like on the other side just show another study, that like somehow debunks whatever I said, and vice versa. So that's like why when a lot of times when I debate people, I say like okay, like this whole study thing, like we're gonna have to like just let that go, because like there's always gonna be questions about methodology,
Yeah,
who did it, on who, like who did they do it on, were they paid off, so it's like right, like, but then of course like you're gonna be like, well, don't you need to cite your sources, and it's like, yeah, but it's like this just proved, because like a lot of people can't argue in the abstract, right, and they just cling to like a study or like a fact, quote unquote, like we've been talking about,
right.
and I'm just like, if you want to like have a debate, then like we're just gonna have to talk in the abstract, and if you can't do that, then that honestly just proves that I'm right and you're wrong.
I don't even like debating people. I used to when I was younger because I always thought looking at it from a cynical lens, like you're just like, oh, I got it figured out. No one else has it figured out, kind of thing. But like I don't even like debating people anymore. I just let people say shit. Like the only thing I will debate of like the stuff that I've experienced or stuff that I know to be true, like that I physically have done in my life. Like, and people say something different, but again, it could be their experience too. So it just depends on what it is. But I don't even care anymore. Like, it's not
I don't
like
like
what's the point? It's not work. There's no like function or purpose to it. Like there is none. You both, and like
I don't
unless there's a
like
dangerous situation happening or someone's like putting you or someone else at risk, who gives a fuck?
I don't like go out of my way. Like I don't ask anyone to debate, but it's just like if someone asks me something, then like I'll gladly answer them and whatnot.
Yeah, well, too, I'll say my thing, and then if someone like disagrees with me, I'll explain why. And like we do it on here, but just for as an entertainment
Oh
thing.
yeah,
But like it's I don't
yeah.
like
We debated many times.
but I don't see it as like a obligation or I don't feel like I'm
But that's
personally
not the
invested. It doesn't matter.
right, and that's not like the focus of the podcast. Like, there's I mean that's part of it, but also like we're talking about other things, and it's just the debate just comes because of the topics we were already talking about.
Well, it's like the most like to me when I think of debate, I think of like defending something I said because someone took it the wrong way. So it's like I have to explain myself without being an asshole, right? So it's like someone's like, "Why do you think this thing?" And I'll say it, and they're like, "Well, I think that way's wrong." And it's just like, okay, I'm not
But
gonna
yeah,
debate
those
you on it.
are
I don't care enough to like prove my innocence to you. Like, think what you want to think. And I know people say that like, I don't care. Anybody can think what they want. You know, grow, be your own man. But like, truly, I am apathetic to especially people that have no bearing on my life. Like, why would you get invested into an argument with someone then they have no like they don't pay your bills, they're not blowing you, they don't have control of your job. Like, I don't get it. Why would you,
right. It's like
especially with
why are
strangers
you
on the
giving this
internet? Like, why
person
do people care so much? Why would you argue with someone you don't even know what they look like? God,
right? Yeah, it's like why are they like this person like they don't have investment in your life.
yeah, for real, man. Fuck.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, he's actually an old friend. Well, I mean, I guess we're not friends anymore. But I was a little sad about it. But
Rip.
we got into a debate. Like I posted something about the Lady of Guadalupe in the Aztec conversion to Christianity, and he got really butthurt about it. And it got to a point where I was like, dude, like you're being a baby. Like calm down. Like like these are things that happened 500 years ago to people you never met, right? It's like,
Well, what did you say? Like, did it make it seem like you were glorifying it? Like, what did you put? Like, what did you say?
yeah, kind of, because I like to sometimes do shit like that to troll.
Or you just stir the
Um,
pot?
Sometimes because it is a little amusing to me
God.
to see like the reactions I can trigger from some of these people. Like I said I was like I forgot exactly what I said. It was like about the Aztec conversion and how like the Aztecs did it. You have no excuse. And then like he slid up and he was like the Aztecs were forcibly converted. You know, and I'm like okay, whatever. I mean, we engaged for a long time, but oh man, it got to a point where I'm like, yeah, like there's no point, like there's almost like no chance that I'm ever gonna convince this guy that Hernan Cortez was a great man. So,
I mean,
um,
that's a big statement.
well, that was one of many things. I was
I,
just using that as like a one of the
that's
thesis
the.
statements like I made.
I mean, you
All
could
of
argue
what
it.
I was
That's a hard one to prove. I think.
all of what I was saying was just like that the Spanish colonization of the Americas was like a very very good thing.
Depending on who you ask, I guess. Not for people that it was under, but you know, it's like you know.
No, but even no, but even so, like the treatment of the Spanish among the Aztecs was far better than people think it was. It was better than the treatment of their own people, because because people will just pull the whole card like, oh, well, they were enslaved, and it's like, first of all, not they weren't really, and then second of all, like they were already enslaved previously by like their overlords, right? That like would go to other villages and like just they sacrifice literally 1% of their population a year, right? And it's like I would rather live under like someone who is like technically like quote unquote greedy than like a ruler that could do that to me, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're just arguing like the lesser of the two evils, and obviously everyone
It's
likes to
just
do
it's
that
just
now.
trade-offs, yeah.
But like,
It's just
I
trade-offs.
do agree with the
If you
fact
look at
that
it that if you look at it in that way, because I don't think that it was the lesser of two evils, but if you do look at it in that lens, then yeah, it's just trade offs, and it's like the Spanish and the trade you get for that is a lot better than the Aztec stuff.
the one thing I will agree with is that I hate this notion that everyone was in perfect harmony before fucking colonialization. Like, it's not the case. We're a brutal fucking people.
Yeah,
Murder,
exactly. That
rape,
was
and
like
genocide since we could, ooga booga our way to make a fire. Like, it's just been
right. I'm
how
like
we are.
when people say like the concept right, like when people say the concept of rape didn't come to like the Americas until like Westerners, but I'm like that's bullshit. Like, come on, you really think that like these people respected women? Like,
How do
get
you
the
even
fuck out of
prove
here.
that? Like, I don't like that was so
I
long
know.
ago.
I'm
Like, you
like,
have like I could say, I mean, for throughout human history, it's been a thing that's common. Like, rape has been around for a fucking long time. So it would make more sense that it has been always a thing. So I don't even know how you prove that it wasn't a thing. Like, how do you like was in historical records there have been no rapes? Like, how do you like? Come on.
no, but it's a similar thing with like the whole like two spirit thing, where it's like people like take it out of context and they're like, oh, like the Native Americans were transgender, and I'm like, no, they fucking weren't.
Well,
Just
every
calm
culture had their
down.
own like they had their own ideas and different versions of gender, and like there wasn't it's not going to be like the American masculine and feminine that everyone thinks about. Like it's so much shit.
No, but it wasn't like transgender in the way we think of it.
I don't know because I don't know gender among cultures, but I know that it's different from culture to culture. So I'm
But
not
like
sure.
every culture has men and women. That's like a pretty universal thing.
Well, I know it's a universal thing, but like there's different ideas about what that means.
Well, that's like the philosophical concept,
That's what I'm
sure,
saying.
but like every single people around the world has like they have like a distinction between like dress obviously is a big thing
It is psychological and
among women
philosophical.
and
That's
women.
my point. It's the psychology is different and the philosophy is different from culture to culture about
But
man
they
and women in between.
but they still have like a distinction though. The
No,
concept that they were like these androgynous like queer people is false.
it just depends on the
Like that
culture. I'm sure there has been some cultures that have been like that. I don't know.
and they're not around anymore.
Well, I mean, not you know how many cultures and languages have died out through the the thousands of years humans have been on this planet. There's like
Well, yeah, not just through like genocide, but from stupid ideas.
yeah everything. It's like a measure of human failure. That's how just how it goes.
No, right,
People
yeah,
you'll never know existed and probably buried in the sands of time forever.
right. But either way, the Spanish colonization of the Americas was a great achievement
I guess in the abstract. Yeah.
in both the abstract and the pragmatic.
It's a difficult
It was
question.
hey no, I'll give you this, and you probably will agree with me on this. It was much better than the English colonization of North America.
Yeah, I will say. Well, I don't know. Actually, you know what? I can't even say anything. It's been so long since I've learned anything about it. I actually don't even remember. All I remember was Columbus was awful. Like even like his own people were just shocked at his brutality, and he was not. Columbus, I don't think you can argue was a good person. You can make the argument for every
I think he
person.
was.
How is Columbus a word? Because like all right,
What he was a
let me say this first. You can with anybody because of how time just moves and like objectively there are good things and bad things that come from everything. You can like every evil person, every natural disaster like 9/11. 9/11 was awful, but like it made airport security 10 times more intense. So I don't know how much more shit it could have stopped later if that never happened. So it's like things
yeah,
just
but even if
naturally
you
progress over
go
time. I don't you can't
yeah,
really
but even
judge it
if
on that
you
metric.
no, but even if you go in that line of thinking, like the connection of the two continents was a great achievement in human history.
They're all
Like we
great
wouldn't even
achievements. They're just not
yeah, but
ethical to
Jason,
today's
like
standards.
you wouldn't yeah, but that's bullshit. I don't care about today's standards. But like
That's what I'm saying. Be specific.
you and I wouldn't be human beings if Columbus didn't discover America.
No, I. That's what I'm saying. I get the point of like objectively thing because of the nature of time and progression, and just the more and more things that happen. Like there are good and bad things that come from everything. But what I'm saying
Right,
is
and
like
it's like
you
he
can
had more good than
the
bad. I
same thing
don't
can be
like
true. You can be an awful person, but have objective good for the future generations, depending on what you because everything has a reaction and like you can, it's hard to keep track of all that shit. What I'm saying is like it doesn't matter on that metric. Like that's why I think people get stuck. Like people think, and that's why I hate this American idea of good versus evil because there's no distinction. Like people think like oh everything like this from this evil person there can be nothing good that came from it. It's just like objectively there is, and that's what I'll agree with you
that's
on. But like, it still doesn't like deny the fact that they're a good or a bad person to our standards today. That's what I'm saying.
well, like the concept of good and evil in that sense, like you said, is false. But like the in the true sense, in like the teaching of the church, is that like well, obviously, like no human being can be 100% good or 100% bad,
Right. Yeah.
but like good and evil exist as like right, not as political entities, right? Because obviously we know that like politics is never going to be like 100% black or white. It's always murky, you know, because that's all the history. But like good and evil are still like they still exist as like spiritual entities, right? And even if something is gray, that still is a combination of both. Like black and white, gray is still a combination of both. So that's why I don't. I'm not saying that you're saying this, but I don't like it when people say that it's just like it's all relative, and I'm like not really.
It's only relative in terms of what you're specifically talking about. So it's like for those people at the time, it was objectively bad, but throughout the course of history and what it progressed into, I guess it was. I would say it's neutral. I would say like I think it's easy to say because of all the stuff that we have and like all of our
That's
comforts that
yeah.
everything that happened in the past to progress to this time and because like you can take anything and just say, "Oh, if this didn't happen, you wouldn't be here today." Like there's so many people and so much innovation from everywhere that allowed this reality of ours to happen the way that it has because from how we understand it, time travel is theoretically possible. Has it been done before, or is it going to be ever, practical in the future? Is up for debate, right? But that's kind of the whole premise. Is like you can take literally anything and just say if this didn't happen, then we wouldn't be here today. So it's kind of like a pushing a boulder up a hill for that one. But I'm saying for the time,
No, but I'm not like yeah, because you can say that about like 9/11 or whatever, but
right?
it's like
You can say about anything.
yeah, but like what I'm saying is that in the case of Columbus, it's much more good than bad. Like he's not the boogeyman. Is my point.
My point was like even for his time, like he wasn't well liked because of that. Like his like it
Yeah,
was
he was on a ship with a voyage with a bunch of starving people. Like, and he's the leader, and he made some. He had to make some morals. Like, what do you expect? Like, I don't understand why. Like, that's wrong.
no, I'm saying like from like accounts of people that were like known, like he was like his unparalleled brutality. There was something like that where he was like unnecessarily cruel for no reason, even
Yeah,
back for
but
like those
then
standards back in that
yeah,
day.
but a lot of that was just from his like political rivals. You can find other like writings that people said he had great like his the treatment of the natives was so nice. It's like you know like this whole he was mean. Was it true? I don't know. Like
I mean, you could argue different accounts. Like I said, it was so long ago. Who fucking knows? Like all we have are written records or oral stories passed down playing telephone throughout the years. But I'm saying like for what actually happened, like do you think like between him and Cortez, like Columbus, I think is definitely worse than Cortez. Like not talking about like the achievements and like all this, like because like again, I think the nuance of like you can be great in achievement, but also like a shitty person, like that can be true. Especially the
yeah,
people that are CEOs
but
of
I don't
successful,
think
like they can create a ton of success, but like, what did they do to get that success, or how did they achieve it? You know what I mean? Like it's
right, but
gotta,
I don't think either of them is are shitty. Yeah, I do think Columbus was like worse than Cortez, but like I still think both of them were great men and should be celebrated.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really give a shit because again, people are arguing about things that are happened so long ago. Like no one has the hubris, really, or I think we have too much hubris is what I meant to say. But
I just really like Cortez though.
why? What about like?
Like what's not to like?
What do you mean? I'm just saying why you like him so. I'm not saying
What
why
he's
is
a
it why I don't like. I'm saying why do you like him so much?
he's a great general. Like just the like and also like these voyages where people like don't even take it to like that takes a lot of courage. Like you don't know if you're fucking coming back. You don't know like what you're gonna see
Everyone did
once you
that
get
back
to
then.
land.
People died at sea. People discovered new lands. Like everyone did that. That was
Well,
common.
yeah, I know. So that's why it's fucking cool when it actually works. But also he like I mean like he was like I said he was a brilliant general. He defeated the Aztec Empire in like what was it, like a year or 2 years. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, no shit. They had way better technology. That's that
Yeah,
wasn't that
that's also why
hard.
it's cooler.
How is that
Yeah, but it
cooler?
was.
That's lamer. If it
What do
like
you
it'd
mean?
be
He
more cool
still
if the
need to
Aztecs were
do.
more advanced and they still were able to beat them. That would be more of an achievement than just like steamrolling them because they had guns.
Yeah, but he still no. But like initially, like it wasn't just like a walk in the park. Like I mean, it was still easy because the tribes agree with him. But like a lot of like the reason they won was not just because of their superior technology, because like they got all the other tribes around them to rise up against the Aztecs because they all fucking hated the Aztecs.
Aztecs were pretty brutal.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like I said, he's like a great general. Just that that ambition. Sail, it's the same thing with Columbus. Like sail the ocean blue. It's iconic, and he was also like spread the faith, and that's something that's very important to me.
Well, the thing that is
And also
relative is
is
depending on who you ask. But I mean, yeah, objectively, I mean,
well, yeah, I'm saying like for me and like a person of the religious observation I come from, like that's something that I think is great. Kind of like how people that are Protestant think that like Henry VIII was great. Because he got the country away from Catholicism.
that's funny. Henry, would just say Bloody Mary is great too.
I don't actually know too much about Bloody Mary.
Killed a lot of bitches.
Right. Well, I mean, I kind of figured that, hence the name. But
She was a daughter of Henry VIII, wasn't she?
I wanna say so. She was like the Catholic daughter, right?
Yeah, because she hated Protestants a lot.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have been in the same camp.
You back then would be fucking. You'd be like screaming in the street while someone's getting hanged or some shit. You'd be all for it.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, there's like I forgot what number. There's like a whole chapel I've been to dedicated to the English martyrs.
Martyrs. Martyrdom.
Yeah, they had to like well, because it was either like you become part of the Church of England or like die essentially. So they had to like say mass in secret,
Yeah.
and they got discovered, and then a lot of these people like got like drawn and quartered.
Like,
It's
yeah, we
fucking
were
brutal.
brutal back then. And like, it's not
Yeah.
even that I'm just disconnected. Is like, for people listening, like, I have fucking, Latin heritage in me and like more Indian in me, or not Indian, like Native American in me. So it's like, objectively, I guess for my ancestors it was bad, but at the same time, it's just, it was so long ago. It's not around. I'm also not one for. I don't know. I don't get like. I feel like people like really put too much importance into others. So it's like they're either you have to love someone or you have to hate them. Like I've never been in that camp, and so it's just like what actually happened. How did it result to years down the line? Like who was affected? Blah blah blah. So it's like just the idea of someone ever. That's why I don't like this idea of idolizing anyone, whether it's celebrities or musicians or historical figures, because like if you don't have direct relation with these people and you don't actually know what they're like, then it's just that you're arguing about a person you have no idea what they're actually like as a in real life. It's just weird to me.
Good point. It's just like admiring, I guess.
Yeah, but there's that line between admiring and just like total idolization.
Right.
You can admire
Yeah.
aspects about
I
people, but you like to admire someone totally as a person, especially if you don't know them, is because like it's easy to look at figures that don't have any dirt on them, and like you only hear about the good shit that they've done and the achievements they've made, and it's very easy to idolize them wholly because that's all the information you have, right? You have no idea what they're like behind the scenes or what they're like, in their daily life, especially if they're dead or long gone, if they're before the age of photography.
well, sure, but also like, I mean, like when people are celebrating historical figures, a lot of it is just because of like the good shit they did. You know.
I don't know. I don't like the idea of like celebration of achievements. I know it's weird to say.
Well,
Just
then
gives a
why
shit.
should we fucking celebrate anything?
Well, that's what you were saying before. It has to be specific things to celebrate. I was like, you can celebrate anything. It doesn't matter. But I think at the end of the day, you shouldn't put so much volition into it. Like
You should.
I don't know. It's weird.
Well, either way, I love Cortez. He's badass, and he just looks cool. Just look like his portrait is just it looks cool.
That's a hill you're definitely gonna die on.
Oh, absolutely,
I love Cortez.
absolutely.
Fuck.
I absolutely love Cortez.
Cortez.
I like him better than Pizarro. I don't know too much about Pizarro.
I don't remember anything about Pizarro.
Yeah, but who else like was there? Oh, Coronado. I also like the other ones where like they weren't like they just kind of explored more and found like cool shit.
Yeah.
Like Coronado, and then what's his name? Like, who who else was like the Spanish explorers? Like, what's his name? I can't remember. But I know Coronado is one of like the big one.
I don't know.
He like he actually he discovered a lot of like the American West. Um,
Man, it's been
but also
so
like
long.
that's the other thing. Like I love the aesthetic of like just the Portuguese and Spanish explorers. It's just it's a cool thing about their civilization. Like yeah, the Portugal is Vasco da Gama. I think he's awesome. Um, Henry the Navigator, you know, first person to circumnavigate the Earth. Um, fuck, a lot of these guys, I'm like, how do I not remember that? But yeah, Vasco da Gama is awesome.
I think it's funny that like 'cause I feel like if you go anywhere in like Central America, especially like Mexico and like El Salvador, like they fucking hate Cortez. Like he's not a well liked figure. That's why I think
A
it's
lot of
funny.
that's from a lot of that's from propaganda actually.
From where? From who?
It's just used like once those countries like so when Napoleon took over all of Europe essentially, that's really when all of these Latin American countries got independence and they started uprising and everything. And a lot of that was used because like obviously like Cortez is like the principal like Spanish figure, right? Um, and so a lot of that was used to like just for propaganda to like you know rally all the people against Spain and get independence.
So they
I mean,
fabricated
it's
how
kind of
ruthless he was. Like I'm not saying what's the prop. Like what did they say that wasn't true
in
about him?
some ways. I mean, it's like it's a lot of all the shit that like the Englishmen said. It's like, oh, the Spanishmen are the Spaniards are all like just gold seeking like degenerates and all this stuff, and like oh like they were like a cruel oppressive to us and everything. I mean, it's kind of similar to how like the I mean, even if it was true to an extent, like how a lot of propaganda was used for our own revolution against England, right?
I don't know. I mean, the only thing I know about our revolution was the I don't know the propaganda they used. I just remember the high taxes and the wanting to be an independent nation. That's all I remember. I hate the revolution. I just it was so boring to me. But I don't
It
remember
was
like what was the propaganda that they said about the English.
well, I mean, well, propaganda, like I must like say, like it's not necessarily like a bad thing, but
It's
it's
just a
just like
tactic that everyone's in war has used since the fucking beginning of
right,
man.
right,
I just didn't know I don't know what it is. I don't remember.
right. I mean, a lot of it was just like the like just depicting the king as just like you know like he's just incompetent, like he's just a like an oaf and all that stuff. I mean, which was kind of true, but um, also I think he was the king that like went mad when he was older.
Probably fucking crazy back then. But like, how did like
Yeah, and like
French and
the
English
no, but the Boston Massacre I remember was a big thing where like you have like historical like accounts from like the English and the American. It's like both like completely different.
That's like a yeah, that's one of those things where like even if you were there like in person, it probably was hard to figure out who shot first. It's just one of those things. If people get riled up and then it just violence erupts and like who knows. It's one of those deals.
Right.
But like specifically for the Cortez thing, like how did like British and French propaganda didn't reach Central and South America? Like that's just historical accounts of
No,
what happened.
no, but I was just saying like in a similar way it was used because a lot of like the defamation of like Spanish and French and Portuguese to historical figures is just because of they were all like England's maritime rivals and they just wanted to like shit on them and convince the world that they were the good guys and that like Spain was like the evil colonizers and stuff like that. And the Dutch did the same shit.
Yeah, but we're not like in today's context. We're not looking at it from British propaganda. Like it's just like I said.
You'd be fucking surprised how many people still like don't realize the influence that has on the way we like look at other countries and cultures and whatnot
Well,
and historical figures.
I know propaganda has influence, but I'm saying like it's
Even
his.
the English, like the English kind of. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they shit on Columbus.
I mean, they made them. I'm not saying they didn't, but I'm saying like from like the information we have and the historical context of the events that happened, like
Yeah, but they're also translated into English, right? And that's another whole fucking thing. And we can go down that rabbit hole. But also like it's just the fact that it's written because like a lot of language is written for specifically sometimes like it can pander to the audience that like is reading it, right? And like I'm just saying like shit can sometimes like not like the way historical, I mean I know you believe this, but like I'm more just speaking to the audience listening to us, like a lot of shit that you just hear about historical figures is just from the lens of like English speaking people, right? And you have to keep into account like English speaking people did not like Spanish, Portuguese, like Italian Catholic people, and they just tried to defame them because they wanted. I mean, they did end up becoming number one, but a lot of they were just their naval rivals.
I'm just trying to figure out how that translates into the lens of what we know happened. Like it's like I mean
But what I'm
it's
saying is that
apparent that
it's all fucking translated into English, and it's like from other languages by people who don't like these people.
yeah, but you
It's
like
not as like but what I'm just saying like it's not as like objective as like you might think that it is.
no, I get that it's not objective, like I said, because like we're relying on written records and it was so long ago. It's hard to really like you only can make the best educated guesses as to what actually happened. You have to take into account like I do agree that like you have to, like when you're looking at historical documents, you have to take into account like what was going on during that time the best you can because like the propaganda has been
Right.
used for war for centuries. So like if you take everything at face value, you have no idea if it's valid or not or if it's true or not. Like you have to have that understanding. Like I'm trying to think of a specific example. There's a specific example where like I don't know if this is in Rome or something. Like there are these documents that they found that were specific. There were specific diversions. There were specific. The fuck is the word? Oh my god. They were meant to be. They were like it's a military tactic. They falsified documents to get to the emperor to let them think that they were doing one thing and they're doing the second thing. So like if you're reading that with no context of what happened, then you think, oh, it's written in this historical document that this is what happened. So obviously you have to corroborate the fucking document to other information, but it's harder if you don't have much more information. But I mean, you're talking about thousands of people and like a civilization where the aftermath is they all have Spanish last names. Like obviously the shit happened. It's just like people are arguing about how
Yeah.
brutal it was specifically or what actually happened or like obviously like slavery and war and disease has been around forever. So it's just like who are the people that specifically orchestrate it? I guess.
Yeah. The forces of evil, I guess. Because like I mentioned before, like good and evil is not tied to a specific political entity, and it has never been that way.
What they is what they use.
Well, I mean, like I said, you can always everything comes down like good and evil always just comes down to personal decisions people make,
Yeah,
right? And
but they
everyone
can use
everyone
that anywhere
has
they want. Like they can use it politically, they can use it religiously, they can use it secularly. Whatever excuse they can put onto it, they can still do it. It doesn't change it. What
like do
objectively
what?
happened. Like you can take any form of good and evil and you can put it into any categorization that you want to. It just depends on what actually happened. Like people can justify or unjustify all day. It's just what actually happened.
Well, yeah, and I'm just saying like if there's bad shit that happens, it's just because there's evil in the world, and then I just look at it in the way of trade offs, and that what you got was good for what you gave, you know.
Like I said, that's just with the nature of time because like we are where we are right now because of the shit that happened before. So it's like how many people had to die for you to be comfortable right now? That's kind of the premise.
Exactly. That's why I don't like I refuse to spit on the graves of people like Cortez and Columbus.
No, I think you have to spit on the grave. Like I said, everyone was like that, but like the world was just different back. Like we try to credit ourselves now. We're more like we think we're slightly more enlightened, but like even though this shit kind of goes on more covertly and overtly, depending on what part of the world you're going to. But like it's just
Oh
like
yeah, and
for the
that's
time
that.
frame.
Yeah, I
Like I don't like the
I
idea. I don't like the idea of judging like modern ethics to the historical figures back then, but I also don't think it's good to blindly like worship them either.
right, but that's like I'm not doing either of that.
No, I know
I
you're
just
not. I'm
think
saying that's like person. That's my line with it. It was like I don't like. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because people that say you shouldn't do that end up fucking worshiping people anyways, you know. So
Well, that's my. I mean,
that's why
people
I'm
just don't
like,
practice what they preach. That's just how it goes. But I mean,
but that's
I see that people
why
are upset
I'm
about it,
just
especially if they're from those countries. Like, but again, like, who knows what would have happened if that didn't happen? We don't know. People can guess all
right,
day long. You never know.
and it just depends on who you talk to,
You
you
might have been
know.
a slave to
Like,
another tribe if Cortez never came, and your ancestors might have died from that. Like, who fucking knows?
well, you probably definitely would have been.
Like, we're warring their tribe. It's tribal. Ooga. Ooh, kill you. Take your shit.
Yeah,
Rape
and
your
then
women. Boo, 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 boo.
yeah, and the Spanish came, and I bet you those tribes were fucking happy.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it just depends on what the situation was and who was it. Some might have won, some might
I
have not been. Who knows?
I guarantee you, just as a collective, that definitely was the case.
Well, I wish we could go back and ask them, sir, how do you feel having to
That'd be cool.
learn English or Spanish, whatever the fuck?
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, I could do it because I speak Spanish, but I'd be interested to hear how they spoke Spanish back then.
Yeah, what the
That'd
accent
be
would be. That'd be kind of cool.
yeah, but like when you read the documents and all of the stuff written in Spanish at the time, the language hasn't like changed drastically in the way that English has. Whereas like if you read English from the same time period, like you can understand it, but like you don't talk like that, you know? Like the way that they talk in like the King James Bible and stuff like that.
Right.
Like I don't think you could talk to like Henry VIII or something like that.
Probably not.
Where right, whereas like
I
I
think
could
something would be wrong with you.
right, they think that you're retarded. Which I mean for the vast case of our population that's probably true.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
But either way, I love the conquistadors. I think they're cool. And I love uh their spread of the faith, and it's yeah, like you said, the achievement thing. It's good. I think they were great men, very brave, and they're people you can look up to.
Well, certain aspects, I guess.
Well, right. I mean, but that's everybody.
Yeah. No, no. I'm just busting your balls. I just think it's funny because I've
Right.
been hearing like nonstop. People are like, especially. I don't even want to make the comparison because it's, I mean, more cut and dry. With like, because like people like, I think in like a lot of people's minds, like, trying to celebrate the achievements of those two or just say they were great men. Like the same thing of like people saying that Hitler was also a great person for all that he achieved, even though he wasn't really that good of a general or a leader.
No, but Hitler like didn't do anything good though.
I mean, he unified Germany in the beginning. He took him out of depression, so he in the beginning he did. That's why everyone was behind him
Well, was that really a good thing?
at the time. Yeah, not now.
eh, for the whole world, I don't know.
I'm saying for the German people. That's why he was so prominent. But then he was an awful military leader.
But not for the no, but not for the German people because he created like this like fake nationalism where
that,
it's like
that's every
yeah,
country.
like no, some countries have done it well, like Spain, but like Germany did and India kind of does this shit too, where it's like yeah, we're nationalists, and it's like they completely fucking ignore like the history of the Jews, even though they were like a big part of like they had shared a homeland for centuries, right? And they're like, yeah, we're nationalists, and like shut the fuck, like no, you're not. Like if you were, you would totally be okay with the Jews,
No,
because most people there were fine with the Jews, you know.
no, I'm specifically saying like at the time that's why he became so prominent was because he took Germany out of the depression and unified him. And you have to do that, creating a fake sense of nationalism. That's how you unify people.
Well, that's collect. Yeah, but that's yeah, because that's it's like inorganic. That's why, like collectivism is like is not good.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Because I don't. I'm not a collectivist. Like I don't know. Or I mean, I wouldn't call. I don't know if I call myself a nationalist. I mean, I know like all these things have so many different meanings and whatnot. And when it comes to ideologies, like I'm like no. Like the only thing I identify as is Catholic. I'm nothing more, nothing less. You know, and like that always comes first, and then like ideologies can just come after. You know.
I mean, it is an ideology though. At the end of
It
the
it
day,
can be. No, but
it
it's
comes with
still like
ideologies for sure.
what can be viewed as an ideology, but it's still like it's a traditional religion.
But you have Catholic ideology, like you have specific.
No, I know, I agree with you. It is no like the yeah, Catholicism is because like ideology is just it's just watered down religion.
I mean, I just in its most
It's
basic
just a, it's
term,
just a
it's neutral. Like
it's just a belief system.
yeah,
It's just a simplistic belief system with like a couple tenets. And Catholicism has that, but I mean, there's more to it than just that. Whereas like nationalism or whatever, or like collectivism or like those aren't the same thing.
but it's been used with nationalism though, especially like in this country. Like in this country, everyone all like I mean, obviously it's becoming less and less now, but especially back in the day, like even in my parents' generation, like Christianity was a major ideology for American nationalism.
Yeah, it was like a yeah, it was. I mean, it was totally.
Right, so that's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying. It's
because
hand you have to do that to unify people in any country. It's like whether it's fake or quote unquote real, it's still blind nationalism or patriotism to whatever the cause is. That's how wars started. And that's how people are like, if no one believed in this shit, they wouldn't fight for it. But you still have
no,
to fight
yeah,
an enemy. Like everyone believes their own version of the shit. So
yeah, exactly.
that's what I'm saying. You have to objectively look at what happened.
No, but what I was kind of saying that like his unification of Germany was like it was very like inorganic, and like it wasn't like. Do you kind of get where I'm getting at?
I feel like they're all inorganic. I feel like they're all forced for a purpose. I don't think there's any organic unification when it comes to countries. I think things can organically unite people, and I think war is one of them. But I
I
think
mean,
to get to that
it
point,
depends. Like the Portuguese are very homogenous. They've always like because Spain is more. I mean, they're still unified, but they have more separate kingdoms within Spain because there's like Castile, Aragon, all those places. But like the kingdom of Portugal has pretty much remained homogenous since like the 1200s, and that, like I said, would be an organic unity. I mean, yeah, I know political like at the political level, there's always going to be something, right? I mean, that's how a language is standardized, right? And it's politically enforced, but it's better there.
yeah, I mean, there's places that are examples, but like you look at, especially like the war in Ukraine and the Middle East, people can debate about that for hours, but I guarantee you, if they ever find a way to get boots on the ground here, you're gonna stop arguing and pick up a fucking gun together.
You mean if they came here?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no, you're right
that's
about that.
that's the only my way. Because like they've been trying to inorganically brainwash and unite people for years, and now they're like, fuck it, we're just gonna make everyone hate each other. So that's their new tactic. But that's the only unification really in this country left is if someone fucking start attacking the homeland. Because people can
Even
sit on
then,
Twitter and argue about people dying thousands of miles away, all till the end of time, because it doesn't personally affect them.
do you
Unless
really think that would unite us?
if
I don't
if
know.
if, if people drop like U.S. is pretty hard to invade geographically and just like the naval and air
Oh
power
yeah,
that we have. Like it takes a fucking like it would take like a coalition of a bunch of different countries to set up in Canada and Mexico to fucking attack us. They can't cross the ocean with the technology that they have currently. Or, like our naval power is too high. So if
right,
ever,
and like
if whoever found a
and
way to attack the mainland, yeah, that's definitely going to be unifying. Because Americans like
and
our
like
shit, so like anything that threatens that, they're gonna fucking attack. I don't care if you're
right,
black,
exactly.
white, liberal, Republican. Like you're gonna pick up a gun with your brother and fucking start shooting. I guarantee you.
That's a good that's a good way to put it. Americans just like their shit.
You wanna fuck with my truck? Oh hell no! I'm gonna shoot you. Like,
Yeah,
dude, what, are you kidding? People shoot each other for like if they think they're mildly, if they think they're a mild threat, they fucking shoot people for no reason. They don't even have a weapon on them. People get killed because they're paranoid or they stole something or whatever. Like, you think a foreigner is gonna drop in from a parachute and people are gonna argue about whether they're gonna kill them or not? No.
no.
You're gonna have blue-haired fucking feminists and like country driving rednecks shooting side by side. I guarantee you.
But like you said, the U.S. is just so damn hard to invade.
It
Because like
is.
not only it's just like our geography is OP, and we have all the naval and army power and aerial power, and like we have like Canada as our ally, and technically Mexico, and then like I mean, I know those countries could just fucking turn on us, but even then, like, it's still really, like, literally so, like, every country in the fucking world would have to like come together to like invade.
Canada would have to do it because Mexico's geography is pretty harsh, and also like their infrastructure is not as great. So it's like transporting troops is gonna be a fucking pain in the ass from anyone, especially like I said, to just transport them across the fucking two oceans that were there, like the Atlantic or the Pacific.
Right. Yeah, I'm just like, if you did do it, like, how would you invade the
It
U.S.?
would have to be like we'd have to piss off like we'd have to have like a Hitler level dictator and a bunch of countries form a coalition to fucking stop him. Like Russia and China, that's why they're doing proxy wars. That's why they're trying to like the attacks are going to be like electronically. They're going to be like to our power grid, to our satellites. Like our infrastructure is already fucked as it is, and that's where they're going next. Like,
Well, yeah, because they know that that's like what Americans cling to.
yeah. So
But
like
like,
shutting down
whereas
water,
whereas
shutting down power, like that's what they're gonna go to. They're not gonna try to. They know like that's why they're not interested in doing that shit. They're not gonna fucking invade ground troops on American soil. It's not a possibility in the near future.
right, but that's like the funny difference between like us and Russia is because like if you did that to Russia, like they don't even like give a shit.
Fuck
Because
it.
like the whole like the like people like aren't selling the products anymore in Russia. They're like, okay, like, they didn't even think twice about it.
Okay.
Like all the Apple products, you know, they're like, all right, well, whatever.
Yeah. We love our shit, man. Don't fuck with our shit.
Yeah, and they don't. It's kind of funny. Well, I mean, I'm sure they do, but
No,
it's
they want
just
to get us addicted to it. That's the thing. Like, oh, you Americans like stuff here. China will make the dumbest app to brainwash your kids to be fucking morons. Oh, you think it's a threat to
yeah,
national security? Wait till you see what Facebook does. Like, okay, I guess we can let it slide then. Because you're an
right.
American company who basically is fucking probably sells all your data to China. And I know
Yeah,
Zuckerberg
I'm like
got in
at
trouble
that
for that.
point. Yeah, I'm like at that point. Is it even like a fucking American company? Because a lot of these like global companies have like, I mean, they're global. They have like offices and like shit like in so many different countries.
Yeah,
Like Google, I'm like, can that even be counted as like an American company?
I don't know. I don't know like geo. I took global business when I was in college, so like learning about a country's GDP and how money moves around and corporations in different countries and all that shit. And because we're so global and because everyone wants to make money, like war is only profitable for like aerospace companies trying to test out weapons and shit and like governments. Like war is not.
Yeah, very high. Yeah, very elite
Yeah,
institutions.
those are the really people that want war and make money from it. But like everyone else, like every most industries, I would say in the
They
modern,
suffer
yeah,
a lot from that
it's not like back
because
in the
it's
day where like
expensive. Like,
manufacturing was top notch and then like everything's fucking outsourced now.
right? Yeah, because we don't make anything here. It's all
Yeah.
just like,
So like for most industries, war's not good, but for those industries, it's awesome. Or
yeah. I'm like, I wonder why we did the forever wars and shit like
yeah,
that.
it's like that's why fucking gas prices went up for all this Ukraine bullshit. If that's actually the reason, I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend to know why gas prices do what they do. It's so fucking. It's all made up.
I mean, it just comes down to like supply and demand and whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I know like when Biden took office, it just happened because like we just he passed the bill or whatever, so like we weren't getting any of our oil and we had to import it. So like, of course, it's gonna get more expensive.
Well, it's just like inflation. It's just like everything's just getting more fucking expensive. Our value of the dollar is just crumbling.
Yeah, but I mean that also changes over time.
Like I remember, I think it was Bush's last term. Like gas was $4, and my dad was so pissed off. And then it was
But yeah, now we're like, oh no, that's good.
yeah. I think the lowest it's been was like the end of Obama's term and like the beginning of Trump's term. That's when gas was super low, like around $2 or 2.50 or some shit. I
Or it
remember.
was less than that,
I
right? I
remember gas
thought
being
didn't
180.
didn't yeah didn't Trump get it like below or something like that?
I can't remember if it was the end of Obama's term or the beginning of Trump's term, but like that era like was really cheap gas prices.
It was like 2015 or something like
Yeah,
that.
2014 to like 2016, I think were pretty decent gas prices.
Yeah.
But I remember that's because I remember I started driving when I was 16, and I remember paying like $1.80 in gas. So that was
So
like
how much was a tank?
that was like $20, dude.
$20.
Yeah, like
Damn.
$20 to
Now
fill my fucking tank. And I was like 40. But yeah, that was I was 16, so
Dude,
I was like that was like
damn.
2014, 13. So that was the last part of Obama's term. Gas was really cheap.
Dude, if like fill up my construction van like all the way, it's like over $100.
God, fucking ridiculous.
Well, that also has a lot more gallons in it, but like in the tank. But
I love also people use the excuse that inflation is just like gonna keep going up, but like no, it's not the fact that inflation is gonna. It's the fact that like the fucking the
well, the inflation also happens because of like incompetence and shit.
well no, my point is just like the value of our money is not keeping up with the fucking inflation. So it's like $40 for gas is insane, even though $20 for gas is technically insane, I guess too. But it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Right? Yeah.
And it wasn't
Well,
like a
because I mean
small
that's
hybrid. That was filling up a fucking minivan. Like it was like it was a lot of gallons in that bitch.
well, yeah. I mean that's currency. It just rots over time
Yeah.
because it's not like it's because the value from currency just comes from us saying that that's the value.
I love when
Whereas
people
like
confuse like the exchange rate versus the actual value of the currency. So they'll look
what
at like
exactly like
so like like how
elaborate.
like the yen like most Asian currency like yen is like a couple thousand yen is like a couple dollars and people are like oh
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
worth
yeah.
more. It's like no, it's just like it's just accounted like it's still like value wise it's pretty similar. It's like the dollar and the euro. The euro is technically worth more, but it's only like 28 cents higher than ours I think or something like that.
Yeah, I think pounds are the most valuable currency.
Pounds, I think so.
Yeah, because yeah, because they're more than euros,
Yeah.
and it's like what's more than both of those? You know, the rupees.
Yeah, rupee. I think was it the ruble for this whole Ukraine shit. I think it dropped to being like the worst currency. The value just tanked.
It wasn't like Venezuela. I think that was
Might have been. It was close.
that's like
I don't know if it was tied or if it was the worst. It was around there.
it's like Venezuela, probably some country in Africa. Like I think like Zimbabwe. It was like 50, like 500 billion, or it was like 500 trillion. This is or some crazy numbers. Zimbabwe was like $1.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm like, bro, like you guys like don't even have money.
What do you have fucking money? You have broke mindset. You're fucking poor.
Yeah, you're poor. You're a beta male.
God,
Right, but
we do love our shit
yeah,
here.
yeah, but I just can't stand how people like don't understand like like well not just that the exchange rate that you're talking about, but just like how things like just appreciate and depreciate over time, and like money itself, like especially like just cash, like it's that's just the value of that is not the same thing as like the value of like an actual like asset like a house or like a car or other like things that are actually like valuable just because of just because of supply and demand.
I don't know. At the end of the day, it's all fucking made up. The market because it's someone just setting the price and if they have most of the supply they can set the fucking demand. Or actually, I said that wrong. They
Yeah,
if there's
right.
demand and then they have the supply, then they can control the price.
Oh yeah, it still fits into the theory.
Oh man, I don't even know why I'm talking. I fucking got a C in economics, but that also was because I was not there that often.
I never took an economics class.
I think it's important. I'm actually gonna. I mean, I think
I think I would have taken like civics, which I think is that similar.
civics is government.
Oh, okay, yeah, I would have taken that if I stayed at the same high school, but I left and I came to Manassas, Virginia.
Oh man,
Yeah, but wait, so when did you take economics?
I took a economics class in high school, and basically that one was we pretty much just learned what like IRAs are, Roth IRAs, credit unions versus banks. We learned how to do taxes,
Oh, that's useful.
and then I can't remember when I learned currency exchange rate versus the value of currency. I think that was global business is where I learned that, and then when I took an economics class in college, that was more of like models and theories and graphs.
Yeah, that was more sophisticated, right?
Yeah, well, not I mean, kind of. I remember we were talking about price fixing and like inflation. So like when there's natural, I remember specifically. I don't know why I remember this. Like when there's a natural disaster, like a hurricane, people will go in there and sell bottles of water for inflated prices because there's no fucking other, you know, people selling it, or they're out in the grocery stores, or they've been looted or whatever.
I remember kind of learning something like that in like third grade about about how some people just get lucky because of whatever shit they had during like a disaster, and they're the only option, so they could just sell it for whatever ridiculous price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I feel like basic economics I can understand, but the one that I took in college, it was more like memorizing like the person that came up with this theory or this graph, and I fucking my memory shit for stuff like that. It wasn't like actual real. I mean, obviously they gave real world examples and like the examples of the original what we were supposed to be calculating, but just like it's just so many lines I can fucking memorize in a day. I didn't
Yeah,
mesh with
dude.
it.
Imagine being like an accountant or something like that.
I couldn't do it, man. I can't look at numbers all day. Like,
No, I would just be like, I couldn't do that.
yeah. Like
Well, I mean, hey, if you paid me a lot of money, maybe I would do it.
I
And
want
those
to like
people do get paid tons of money.
I want to learn like numbers on a scale of money. Like I would love to like talking about the exchange rate and the value of currency. Like I want to understand that well so I can learn how to trade on forex so I can actually like trade currencies because that is just a whole mind-boggling thing to me on its own. But some people are really good at it. They can make a lot of money just trading currency.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you
Like,
really understand how it works and how the flow of money works and the time that you have to do it when the market's open. But
what's like stocks, right?
it's yeah, pretty much. It's you're betting a certain amount of value, and if it's gonna go up by the time you bought it. But it's also I can't remember if it's more volatile. Obviously, it's kind of like crypto because you're literally gambling on currency, which crypto is pretty much that, but a fake currency. Even though all currency is pretty much fake, but crypto is even more because there's no utility
Right. Yeah.
or less utility than actual currency because there's an actual asset you can tie it to. Um,
Should I do any investing in crypto?
I'm not gonna advise you there. Some people can make a lot of money. I haven't had any luck with it, and it's a lot more volatile than stocks. So do with that as you
Right.
may. I feel like the people that make money in crypto like are scammers. So, like it feels like those people make a lot of money, but they end up fucking losing it to the
Yeah.
FTC
They're
or
right.
they
Yeah.
go to
They're like
jail or the SEC.
they're
I'm
like the
sorry, because I think
redditors
they're
or
really
something like that.
yeah. I think the SEC regulates stocks. Um,
Yeah, but just imagine like your job is just like, hey, you run diagnostics on the exchange rate of the something
yeah.
like. Man.
I think if they're gonna enforce crypto or they're gonna force stable coins down our throat, and then people have been paranoid for years that they're gonna get rid of cash, and they want everything to be a digital currency. So whether that is just keeping the currency
I was
that we
hearing
have,
that.
or
Yeah.
making up another stable coin, or whatever the fuck, right? I don't know, but I think just
I
the
don't use
being
cash
being able
anyways.
to just trade a non tangible asset is insane to me. Just like you're
Oh,
just
like just
trading.
on purely on like digital stuff.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, no. And also like this the cybersecurity involved in banks and shit like that is insane.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of it. Even like with crypto, with blockchains, everything's encrypted and shit, but still not inaccessible if anyone really wants to get into it. Some people are savvy, man. People just get and ruin your life.
Yeah.
But I
But
really
yeah.
do want to get into like, because like I what I understand about crypto is like the amount of function that it has to have to like grow in value and like the market size. But what I don't understand is what makes it so because like to me with basic stocks like it's the man so like if you have a bunch of people buying and holding a stock it becomes more valuable than like when there's fear and panic or you don't do good quarters shareholders get paranoid and they start selling their shit and that tanks the value of stocks. But with crypto I don't really understand how that works.
Yeah, but like stocks like I understand the asset that it represents, but crypto like what is it representing exactly?
It's basically algorithms. It's data on a computer. So like people that mine crypto, and I have a very basic understanding of this. Like there's people that can explain this way better, but just from what
Right.
I've
Yeah.
been reading, because like when I'm like on Coinbase and Robinhood, there's a couple of like articles you can read and they give you the crypto. So like just kind of like learning about what they do and what blockchains are and what the actual data is and what is actually crypto. So from what I understand, it's pretty much the people that mine it. It's like you're letting companies, or if it's not companies, it's whatever, letting whoever use your computer to run algorithms, and then it pays you in this token that is an asset. So basically, it's and that's why like all these warehouses that they build, all these like servers and data centers that do all this shit, like that's all they're doing is computing or they're storing data. So basically,
Hmm.
that's how you do it when you mine crypto, and that's when you create the value in the asset, and then you're trading off of that commodity, because like some of them you don't even actually own the crypto, you're just trading off of the value of it. So like especially on Robinhood, if I bought like $100 worth of Dogecoin, I don't actually own the Dogecoin, I own the value of it. So like whenever that changes, I can turn that back into American dollars.
I see.
But I think they have a wallet now, so I think you can actually store crypto, so you can actually own it. As like I said, I've stopped getting into all this because it's just you have to put in a lot of money for it to work, but you can also lose a shit ton of money too. Like slowly building it up is really more for an IRA thing or a mutual fund or
Or an
anything.
ETF.
Yeah, or an ETF too. So like that's really more to put a little in every now and again and scroll it away until it adds up over time. But like if you want to do swing trading or day trading, you have to have a shit ton of money really.
You also have to be like smart and you gotta study this shit.
Yeah, and you got to do it all day. And also like it's so volatile. You can be as smart as you want. You can have algorithms and all this shit, but you can still lose your ass. So like that's why
Oh
everyone
yeah.
always says don't ever invest more than you're willing to lose, because it can be all
Exactly.
gone
Yeah.
if you fuck
Right.
up.
Well, for stocks like ETFs and all that shit, that
Well,
always just goes up.
yeah,
Which
yeah. And some
that's
companies I know if you invest with them, they take a like they eat a percentage of risk. So like I think my parents did a mutual fund with this company. I think it's Eagle Invest, something like that. But they basically absorb 25% risk. So if it goes down 25%, you're covered. Um,
mm-hmm.
which is
I
pretty
see.
good for like I said, like a retirement fund or a mutual fund or a government bond or whatever. I don't know specifically they invested in, but it's one of those types of things.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But it's all fucking bullshit, dude.
What investments?
Yeah, I just wish I was smart enough to play the game.
Oh no, they're great though.
I'm talking about like
Investments
just like
like
swing trading and day trading, like that stuff, not like investing,
oh yeah, yeah,
investing,
yeah,
like
yeah.
just trading
Oh yeah, yeah,
is what I mean.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey, if you got a bunch of money, go for it. But
You can win a lot, man, if you get the right intel. You know, if you work for Congress or if you're a congressman, you get some insider trading details. You're gonna make a shit ton of money. Everything you buy will be a fucking hit.
right, yeah,
Like, oh, you want to
you
buy
just
COVID masks before COVID is a thing to the public? Go right ahead. Ba boom.
right or like
You want to buy some vaccine stock? Ba boom.
what was the other one? Oh, Zoom stock. Boom, boom.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like right. It's honestly timing. It's all timing. People can like say they're so smart and they have it down to like the candlesticks and they can like show you all
They
these
don't,
graphs and all this. Is like it's timing. No
unless
one
you're
truly knows.
like, unless you're in on the hill, you don't know.
Yeah, you
Like
have
you
to.
can't
Yeah,
be 100%.
you have to get
Um,
insider knowledge to not even like be. I would say 90%, because like I said, it's
right,
so volatile. Anything can happen.
right. But dude, I'm just like imagine if you invested like whatever amount of money was in like Bitcoin back in like 2011 or whenever it
My
was.
God, it was. I think
How much money you would have, like man, like
I may be wrong, but I think at its highest, Bitcoin was worth like $60,000 for one share of it.
yeah, or some crazy amount. Like, let me see. Bitcoin.
At its highest, I think it was 60 grand.
Now it's worth 25 grand.
Yeah, it took a massive shit, and that's what I'm saying. So people that think that Bitcoin is a good asset to have, if you bought it in at that price and it tanked $40,000, you're fucked.
Right, exactly, yeah. Doesn't always just go up.
Obviously, but again, like if you don't sell, you don't lose it. So people are probably waiting for it to go back up again. So there is that too.
Right.
But
Well, and you also get the dividends from. Well, do you get dividends from Bitcoin?
I don't think so. I know
Because
there's
if
some
you're
cryptos.
really
There's some cryptos that do give you some dividends, but I don't think Bitcoin's one of them.
okay, Yeah, because like
I may
some
also
people
maybe
are
the
so
platform you buy
rich.
it on. Like some platforms be like if you buy a share of crypto or a percentage of Bitcoin or one Bitcoin, they might give you dividends from them. That might be the case, but I don't think Bitcoin in itself gives you. It depends on on the trading platform that you're using, I guess.
Right. Um, Damn, dude. Even like in 2015, Bitcoin was worth $327 a share.
In 2015,
Yeah. Just
ugh,
imagine if you bought like $20,000 of
I was
that
18
at
in
that.
2015. I could have done that. Oh my god.
I know that's the
Whew.
annoying. That's like the worst thing about getting into investing is like
But I spent a
all the shit
thousand
where it's like
dollars. Oh my god.
right where it's like I could have done this investment, I could have done that, like that's the worst part about getting into
Dude,
investments.
anyone that's ever been into stocks will always tell you that. Like, I should have done this. Like, if I would go back, I'd do this. Like, everyone always says that. They always have a story of a missed opportunity.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the part. That's what they say was even worse about losing money in crypto or in the stock market. It's just the opportunity that you've missed. Opportunities that you miss. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like you said, like who knows what could fucking happen.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But as I was saying, like with the dividends, like if you're that rich, like you can just even if the value in the stock tanks, like you could still just get money from the dividends and it doesn't even matter.
I think it, and I think it's like if you were had a APY at like 4%, I think you have to have like 3 million of it just sitting there, and you could live off of the monthly of it and live comfortably in like a house or a nice apartment or something. I
Yeah,
may be
something
wrong,
like
but
that.
it's some
Like
percentage. 3 million is at some percentage that you just have to have sit and do nothing, and then it just grows for the
right, and
dividends.
then like the dividend payout, like you would have enough to like live, like it would cover all your expenses, like and then some. I think.
Yeah, and that's just for sitting there doing nothing. So if you have three
Right.
million to blow out your ass, just let it sit in some account, some interest growing account.
Yeah, dude. If I had $1 million, I would totally just well, I would get my business obviously, and then a house, and then the rest of it I would just fucking put in like ETF or something like that.
Yeah. I'd have to. The one thing that would really fuck me up about getting a ton of like right now in my life, if I was in a position or if I got lucky to get a ton of money, I have to really figure out the loophole in the tax game so I don't get just destroyed in taxes. Like I have to play it the long term smart way so I can like pay all the taxes I need to up front and then just let it grow after that because you still have to pay
Yeah.
taxes on interest and dividends. But I think like if you
Right.
for
Yeah.
specifically for trading on the Nasdaq, like whatever broker it is, if you like let it sit for a year, it's less taxes than if you take it out in that like in less of that time.
Yeah, a lot of ETFs are like that. Like if you like the longer you let it sit there, like the less taxed you're gonna be whenever you get
Yeah.
it out.
Or if it's the IRA, you just pay it all up front and then just let it grow. So when you take it out, you're not taxed at all.
Right. Yeah.
But who knows? It's all fucking made up, like I said.
Stocks.
Yeah, all this shit's made up.
Yeah, totally.
Our
But still
country's
get you
run on
money.
Wall Street. Any decision why a politician or a congressman makes a law or passes a bill or signs something or makes an executive decision is probably because it's some shareholder his interest is being protected because they paid for that politician's seat.
Oh yeah, I mean
It's
like
just how our
money's a
country's
big
run.
thing in the pharmaceutical industry and all this shit.
Yeah,
Like
awful.
the concern, well, in that field specifically, it's not actual like health. A lot of it is just they just push these products because that's whatever the fucking investment thing was, and
Yeah, and like the one that everyone always points to as an example is Purdue with OxyContin. Like that was some
what
fuckery there, and I don't even think they're in. I don't think anyone from them is in jail. I may be wrong
what
about
happened
that.
there?
They basically like they sweat like OxyContin is a massively addictive drug, and it was touted as like they wanted to use OxyContin to soothe headaches, like the opioid, and then like these doctors were like being very incentivized to prescribe these fucking opioids for people that didn't necessarily need them, and like they lied about how addictive it was. They somehow like they paid off someone on the FDA to get it approved. Like it was just insane the amount of fuckery that went down with OxyContin, and I don't think anyone's in prison because of it. But it's common knowledge. There's been a couple shows about it. It's public, but let's see.
Damn.
Did anyone from Purdue go to
Fuck.
prison? Yeah, the Sacklers, the family that owns Purdue, they've never been charged with any personal wrongdoing, but they've also paid off a bunch of settlements and stuff too. So they've paid off a bunch of settlements, but that's it,
Is it like hush money?
pretty much. Or it's like if you get a
Yeah.
lawsuit and the
Oh yeah,
whatever,
just settle with the money. Yeah.
yeah. So none of them are in prison. Holy fuck!
Fuck.
$6 billion settlement with the state attorneys general in 2020. Wow,
Damn.
wow, wow, wow. In 20, oh, I'm sorry, 225 million in 2020, but 6 million or 6 billion in when was that? Just over time. Just fucking god.
Dude, guess fucking how much if you bought $1,000 of Bitcoin 10 years ago, you would have $15.6 million. How the fuck? Like,
Yeah, man.
some of these things, it's like, is this too good to be true? Like,
There's been a couple stories of people they had a bunch of crypto saved on a cold storage wallet, which is pretty much a flash drive. And there was one guy, he had it in a pair of jeans and it was millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and he fucking lost it. He accidentally like threw it away. So he's been like trying to get like this, I think this has been in England or something. He's trying to get the city or the county that he lives in to let him dig through the landfill to find his fucking jeans with his crypto wallet in it.
damn.
And also there's one guy, another guy that he forgot his password for his thing. So he basically it's one of those things you have 3 attempts or he lost his password and I think it like basically locks out forever if he gets it wrong. So like I think he's just letting it sit on the last password attempt or something. I heard that too.
Wow.
Nuts. I hope those are true
Uh,
stories because that's really fucking funny.
no, but that's telling how like all this digital shit, like if it's destroyed, it's gone.
Fuck you. No, and that's why people are scared about it because the government can track all of it and see everything and seize it potentially.
Right, yeah, because if all your shit's in digital, they could just, like who's stopping them? What
You
power
can
do you have?
disrupt so many markets.
Oh yeah,
The flow of commerce will be halted.
yes.
But
Shit. What are the other coins like Dogecoin or whatever?
I lost my ass on Dogecoin, and I still blame Elon Musk.
What happened?
I mean, I don't know what actually happened. So basically, the premise was this is what people are saying, but it's probably like half joke, also half serious. And this is what I will say is never buy on trends because every time there's a specific hype about something, people buy it because they think it's going to go up in value, and then they're going to sell it quick before it tanks again. So I was already trading on Dogecoin, and I was doing well. I was making money with it. But then I got greedy because people are like, Elon Musk is gonna go on Saturday Night Live and then talk about Dogecoin, and um, and it's gonna go up. So I bought a shit ton of it before that happened, and then
How much did you buy?
it was. I mean, it was not much in the grand scheme. I think it's still a lot of money. I think I bought like $500 of it.
Oh wow.
And then he was so. I mean, the joke is he was so unfunny on Saturday Night Live that it fucking just tanked the value of crypto. So like I'm down like $300 on Dogecoin.
Like $200 down in the grand scheme of thing, like you said, it's not that bad.
No, it's not. It's
I mean,
not much. I'm
but
just
it could
pissed
have
off.
been like
It's just like
who
you're still
knows,
losing
like,
money. You know, I haven't sold it yet, so I'm waiting. And this was like I don't know how long. It's been probably a year or two at this point. I've been sitting on this bitch forever. I'm just waiting for it. Hopefully, it doesn't just tank to zero. But again, I don't know like because like crypto is hard to grow. Like so, I don't
Yeah.
know what it's gonna take to increase the value of it. Like I don't know how long it'll sit there for 5 years, 10 years before it goes up to $1. I don't fucking know. It's penny
Yeah,
stocks, penny crypto.
increases like $1 a share or
Yeah,
something.
it's just fucking. It's stupid at the end of the day. I hate. It was interesting to me for a while, and it's just like this is dumb, and I'm gonna lose more money because I'm not gonna. I'd have to like study and actually do this shit more, like a part-time job, and I just don't have the time and don't have the fucking will to do it.
Yeah, it's just a hobby.
Yeah, I just did it for fun. But it's just like, "Oh, this is dumb. I don't want to lose money for fun.
Yeah, no, that's not fun. That's just gambling.
That's why I don't like casinos. I hate gambling. I don't like slot machines. I'm not good at cards. Every time I've ever been to a casino, I've fucking lost money. I always have shit luck with cards. I'm not good at card games.
Really? Do you like to play any card games?
I
Like just
like playing
not like.
blackjack. I like the like I like the premise of that my odds are just basically, obviously everything you can count cards and you can if you're smart that way, everything is, patterns, but for me it's luck. It's just the luck of the cards. But I don't like it when I'm in a money setting cuz I usually have shit luck with it. So I lose fucking money.
Yeah, that's just how it works.
Obviously there's some strategy with 21 because you're guessing you're guessing what you have and what you're gonna get and what other people have and what they're gonna get. So it's all a big guessing game. Unless you're counting
Right, right.
cards, which some people are good enough to do that, but most casinos can, I guess, detect you from doing that these days.
How do you like? How do they detect that you're doing that? You can just tell.
I don't know. I don't even know how people count cards. I have no idea.
That's 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 insane.
Yeah, people are just insanely just numbers make sense to them and they can just identify all the patterns and
Well, yeah, that's
percentages and
just their
shit.
inclination. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
cool.
no, that's not me. I'm not that guy. I'm so inconsistent with everything in my life.
Right.
I'll win $1,000 tomorrow, then lose 2,000 of it next month. It's just I'm not.
Dude, why did you not invest $1,000 of Bitcoin in 2011?
Because it wasn't that easy back then. I remember like
Wait, there
you
wasn't
couldn't just.
apps and shit, right?
Well,
Like, how did you do that?
I remember talking because like there was guys when I was working in a restaurant that were really into crypto, and I think one made out a lot, and that's why he quit. He actually made a lot of money with it, and I think he does it full time now. But he was telling me about like how because like this is after like people like knew about Bitcoin and how it exploded, but it still went massively more in like the beginning part of COVID. So it's like if you had it even like a couple years ago, if you held on to it, like you still have a lot more money. So I could have bought it back then, but I still think it was pretty expensive. I think it was a couple thousand still, but it wasn't as easy to buy it. Like it wasn't on major platforms. You had to do some weird shit to get it. Like actually store it on a wallet. Like it was some fucker you had to do to actually get it, and I just wasn't. I didn't. I felt like I was gonna get scammed trying to buy it. Like I would like go on a website and not actually buy it and just lose money. Like that was my fear.
But
Or now just open
also,
up
like,
Robinhood and you can fucking trade it on any platform you want, really.
right, yeah. Oh, so you can buy Bitcoin and all that stuff on Robinhood?
Yeah, but like I said, I don't know if you actually own it or if you're just trading off of the value. That's what I don't know.
Okay.
I think they have
Yeah.
cold storage wallets now, or whatever storage wallets. I think I don't know. I haven't paid
But
attention. So I don't know.
but like, how did you do all this investment stuff like before the internet? That's what like I'm trying to wrap my head around.
Well, you would actually go to a broker, and they would like you'd physically write it down and then all that shit.
Oh,
So
you'd be like, oh, I want this
yeah,
like I want this shares of this company or whatever, and
yeah,
then
and you'd send it. I don't know if they would send a money order or a check, or they pay them cash on the spot. I'm not sure, but you actually had to physically go to a brokerage firm.
yeah, because a broker is just somebody who like processes stock trades, right?
Yep, that's all that is. And online, like, every platform is technically a brokerage. Robinhood's unique
Right.
because you don't have to pay a transaction fee every time you do a trade. Like they make their money by inflating the actual value of the stock.
Yeah. I think Schwab is the same way. Like you don't have to you don't pay a fee, but like they make their money by like I'm pretty sure like the actual value. Like don't quote me on this. Like I think I'm wrong. But sorry, I might be wrong. Like I want to say like they make their money by like the actual value of the stock, like the ask price. Like you have to buy it for like 2 cents more or something like that,
Yeah, it's not very.
or or something like that. Yeah. So they, I mean, obviously that's not a lot in that instance, but like if you do that for everyone, then yeah, you make a bunch of money.
Yeah, they only can do that because they have a large platform base. So like if you have millions of people that use your app, like yeah, you only have to inflate it a cent or two, then you make a lot of money.
Fuck, dude.
But
It look,
that's and on every
man,
transaction too. That's not even.
dude. The Bitcoin equivalency was outdated. That was in 2021. So it's according to this, if you invested $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2010, now it would be worth $287 million.
Jesus Christ.
God damn.
We are
Just to,
weird
like,
primates, man.
what would you be doing if you had that kind of money?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I have so many ambitions. I feel like I would blow a lot of money. I feel like I would set myself up to put money in accounts to save, and because like I know I would fuck up. So like I would just squirrel away money in an account just as a backup. I put some in savings, put some in an IRA, put some
Cushion,
in
yeah.
something with
Yeah.
interest. Like I said, so I can just build up and live off that. I wouldn't like. I know I wouldn't buy a mansion. I probably would have one really nice car, and I would buy a shit ton of music gear. But again, they're tangible assets, so I could also resell them. But I don't want a big house, so that's the thing. And I wouldn't buy multiple properties. I wouldn't buy a yacht. I wouldn't buy a private plane. Like I said, I would have like a really well built like 2-story house maybe, and then like a nice car and a shit ton of nice music equipment. I'd probably build a studio.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
watches. I buy a lot of watches.
Yeah, those
So
can like go up in value.
yeah,
Like that those are volatile and then you could just sell them and shit like that.
yeah. So I wouldn't make a bunch of high end purchasing. I wouldn't buy like I said a new plane or a new boat or a house every couple of years. I would just you know maybe I would only buy like maybe two or like I don't know. I feel like I would I don't but I don't want to live in different places. I feel like I would just like have one place I could go back to as home, and I would just spend my time traveling. Like I wouldn't buy places in
Yeah,
different
yeah.
parts of the
Yeah.
world. I would just travel there.
Oh, I would totally buy a bunch of houses.
Yeah, because you're Jewish.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how they get rich.
No, I know.
And then they just Airbnb that shit.
Yeah, it's not me. It's too much. Like my thing is like my time is more valuable, so I'd rather spend my
I
money being able to make my time more efficient.
right.
I don't want to.
I just like the idea of like I just wake up and I manage my assets. I do all my hobbies. I'm with my family and that's it, you know. I like that.
I
I just
think
I
yeah,
love that idea and that's obviously where I want to be at.
the idea of financial freedom is alluring to me. It's like being able to do what I want. Would I be more depressed as a person? I don't know. But the one thing I will say that will suck is like relationships with people. That'll be very weird. But that would be the one thing I would not look forward to is people knowing that I have a bunch of money or like having to date
Oh
someone that's
yeah.
like that or like if God forbid your relatives know and all that. It's just I don't want the headache of dealing with people having a lot of money.
I mean, it right now I get what you're saying. In my family, that wouldn't really be as big of a deal. So I wouldn't worry about like my family and my relationship with them.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure if I had just had a bunch of money, like our relationship wouldn't be because we're already tight knit.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't really be any different.
I totally would
Um,
buy beaters. So it's like I would buy a beater car that like I would drive around. So I wouldn't drive around and park my fucking Lambo anywhere. You know what I mean? Like I would drive around like a regular civilian car.
but you would or you wouldn't drive a civilian car.
I would. I was saying I would have a beater. I'd actually drive around to places, and then I'd only like would take a nice car out for a drive or something. I wouldn't like go park it or like go places with it or let people know that like like letting it sit in a parking lot somewhere. Then like I'm walking back to it and people are standing there waiting for the guy to come back so they can like be like, "Yo, can I take a picture in here?"
Yeah, like the
I was just
Sunday car or something like that.
yeah.
Or,
I'll be one of those people that had a lot of money, but when I'm in public, like you wouldn't know it.
no, yeah, I know because there's people like that. They just dress like hobos for some reason.
Yeah. Like I would only like wear nice shit to like actual specific events, but like if I'm traveling the world, I would just spend all my money traveling on like food and hotels and all that shit. But I would just wear regular clothes, not wear expensive shit, and not rent like stupid cars.
Yeah, like luxury cars don't really interest me. I mean, it would be cool to have like a really nice car,
Yeah,
but I just like having like a utilitarian, like just this car gets me from point A to point B. It's very cheap, you know.
yeah.
The maintenance is cheap. That's why I like Toyotas and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, love them.
Yeah. No, but dude, I would invest a lot of money into like the community and everything. Cause like at my school, they've been trying to like do a bunch of stuff and like they're working on it, but it's just because of like money and stuff like that, like things can't be get done as like fast as we want it to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would totally just like be like, yep, here's the gym, here's this, here's that, and stuff like that.
Let's go paint a school and not do anything for it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would invest money into the community because I just the way our infrastructure is, this shit just wouldn't fucking work. It's just waste of money.
Even well, also like just with my business, like that's investing in the community. Like I would totally just open up
Yeah.
like day one. I'd be like, here's the fucking money. We're opening up the salsa club now. Let's go.
Here's the thing: if you had a shit ton of money and you had a bunch of businesses, would you pay your employees well?
Well,
Like more than they're worth,
yes.
technically.
Like, what do you mean by that?
Like, let's say you become like a multi-billionaire, right? And you have like a bunch of nightclubs. Like, would you pay your staff a six-figure salary?
I mean, if it's a really nice place, oh, absolutely.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If it's like a high end place,
Better than
you know,
most.
I don't want to be like stingy when it comes to that. I want to be like the boss that like, not like the boss that everyone likes, but like I want to be like a good boss that people respect. You know.
Yeah, same thing. If I had a bunch of money, I would also try to play. You know, they always say you can get paid a competitive rate. It's just like, no, you're not. You're not getting paid a competitive rate.
A competitive rate.
Yeah, no, you're not. You're being paid
Yeah,
a shit
shut up.
rate.
Shut up. You get tips.
Yeah, exactly. According to the government,
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
I still don't even get that, but
Oh well.
yeah. But yeah, cars like I mean, yeah, I guess it would be cool to have like a car. I'd rather have a jet than a car. Having a jet, that just sounds cool. I want to like just fly to somewhere in like a minute.
I don't know. I feel like I would just pay to get on a private jet. Like I would charter a plane. I wouldn't fucking own it. I wouldn't even care.
Or like a pilot or somebody.
Yeah, like I said, because people do it all the time. They charter private planes. They have a lot of money if they don't want to own a jet themselves.
Yeah, like in the Manassas airport.
Yeah, or wherever.
Yeah, that's I really do want to go on a private airplane flight.
I've never been on one. I've only ever
Yeah,
been on a shitty I've never even been in first class. I've always been stuffed in a tin can.
I
No
think I've
fucking
been
room. I hate flying.
I've been I've been in a con. Sorry, not a con. I've been in first class. I think once. It was nice.
I don't know. I mean, as much as I complain about it, I just still don't think it's worth it. Like, especially like the longest flight I've been on is like a 12-hour flight, and I think I was miraculously asleep for a lot of it. But even then, it's just like this sucks, but whatever. I'd rather be a little bit miserable for a couple hours and spend like thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't give a shit.
Right? Yeah. It's like just power through it, bro.
What blows my mind is like, because like I go to visit my brother in Florida, and that's like a fucking hour and a half flight, and people like spend thousands of dollars to be comfortable for an hour and a half.
No, that is
That's
not worth
fucking
it.
stupid. Like I don't care. I
Yeah.
don't care if you're a multi-dollar or if you're a multi-millionaire. Like it is an hour and a half flight. You can't sit through an
Do
hour
you-
and a half on a fucking plane.
right. Like
You really have to
I'm
go in
like
luxury for an hour and a half.
yeah, a flight to Europe is understandable, but
Yeah.
like an hour and a half, like get over yourself.
Like I'd even give you a flight to LA. Like that's 5 hours. That's still a decent amount of time, sure. But like, and really to Florida, fucking from
right.
here.
Yeah.
That's just dumb. Total waste of money. And it's probably not even that good.
Ooh.
Like you're on a United flight for an hour and a half. Like how good is that first class gonna be?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. How good can United give you, bro?
Yeah, it's like you're flying fucking Emirates.
Turkish Air. Oh, is Emirates the best one?
I think it's Emirates or Saudi. Hold on, let's see. What's the best airline? What's the
Not
best?
like Turkish Airlines or whatever the fuck.
It might be Turkish, but hold on.
Apparently, they're very nice.
What's the most
Actually, I've heard
luxurious
that
airline?
I've heard that the Korean one's nice too.
Qatar. That's what I was thinking of. Qatar is the most luxurious one, I think.
Qatar, yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Not Saudi.
I don't know why I was thinking of Emirates, but I think Emirates is nice too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wait, Qatar I think is the nicest airline in the world.
Dubai, bro.
Dubai, Singapore.
That like Dubai is like an enigma.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the
It's
fuck?
a
Like
man-made
even it
fake island, and fake religion. They're
Yeah, I'm
fake
like, what?
Muslims.
really?
I've heard that from
I'm just
people because
like-
they drink alcohol and they have harems and all that shit. So it's like, I mean, it's like with anything. They're bureaucratic Muslims.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like bureaucratic Christians here.
right, exactly. Oh, bro. I mean, I don't even think those people are like fucking Christian, anyways.
Do what?
But I don't even think those people are Christian, anyways.
Well, I mean,
But
I'm saying it's the same thing. It's this same.
right, yeah.
You can't judge it because they're clearly just a. Would you call them a kleptocratic state or kleptomanic state? I don't know what you.
Kleptocracy. So yeah,
Kleptocracy. Yeah.
a kleptocratic state,
But
which is
it's nowhere better
yeah.
anywhere else, so who cares?
But Dubai is an enigma.
Yeah.
Who is Dubai? Like what?
I do want to go there because it looks cool as shit.
It does. It just. I mean, it does seem like a little bit too influencer and shit, and I don't like that. But
They're just gonna
like,
go to
how
everywhere nice. They just ruin everywhere that's nice. You can't judge it based off of that. You're not gonna have an influencer experience while you're there.
true. But like, what shit do they have there? Other, I mean, I've just seen like the buildings in the middle of the desert.
They have like
and
an
shit.
indoor ski range. You can like race luxurious cars. Golf. Like they've built so much stuff. There's man-made islands and these cruises you can go on. Like it's a billionaire's playground. So
So it's just like a. Oh, so it's like an entertainment. It's like an amusement park essentially.
well, I'm sure they have amusement parks there, but my point is like they've built a lot of stuff to do.
Wait, like entertainment is their industry, right?
I don't know.
Like they don't produce like some good or something like that, right?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I just know they've a bunch
Um.
of money. Like their world is rich as fuck. They have a lot of money to spend on things.
And they're all like millionaires.
A lot of people are rich out there, and a lot of people are poor out there too. But you know, that's
Yeah,
how it goes.
that's
Super
like
rich, super poor, bitch. Figure it out.
it's like both ends of the bell curve.
Yeah, exactly.
That is
Uh,
like the biggest example of that.
that's what I'd be curious now. Like in the city of Dubai, the people that actually live there, like what's the percentage of them that like are poor or technically middle class?
Yeah. Well, whatever. I mean, because I'm sure the terms there are like are different.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know what the terms are, but like our version of poor, and like if you can, the people that can afford to do shit, but they're not rich, I guess.
Yeah, like
Not
exactly.
begging for food or they're not working
That's
paid.
like yeah, like they're just dependent. Like to me, that's sort of like they're independent.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's like middle class to me, as I understand it.
I think it's a good one to square it up definition wise.
Yeah, it's just like you have money to like spend on bullshit, but like you're not rich.
Oh yeah, but
like like Gucci.
yeah,
That is like the most like
fake
middle
Gucci.
class bullshit. Yeah.
So people can
Um.
afford to spend $200 or $300, $400 on a shirt, but like, should they? No.
Should they is what you asked?
Yeah. No.
Absolutely not. Also, like that shit that shit depreciates. It's not even like it's not even hip the next year. That
Yeah,
is
you
like the
literally have to collect
worst.
it and never use it, like
Yeah, it's
shoes.
like well, yeah. Some people actually I know how like they can like shoes can really go up in value.
Yeah, but you cannot wear them. You just have to let them
Right,
sit. Like, you literally just collect them.
right. Yeah, I mean that's a lot of commodities.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I
you
mean,
just have it and then
not necessarily. Like for watches and for music equipment, if you find the right investment, then it can shoot up. Obviously, condition plays a role, but I've seen a lot of beat up instruments and watches sell for a shit ton of money more than what they were paid for 20 years ago.
yeah, that's cool to think about.
Yeah.
What was like you said like the boomers come in and they're like, according to my book, this guitar should be this much money, and then it's actually like less than what they.
Yeah, a lot of them do it on Gibsons. The Gibson Les Paul is the boomer holy grail. Everyone always thinks they have one that's, it's some musician that no gives a fuck about owned it. Like no one cares.
And it's worth like at least like.
Yeah, they do that shit all the time. It's really irritating. It's like people don't understand market value, and they don't understand like they always like they when they look at it, it's frustrating to communicate because like they think we're ripping them off, but like you go to anywhere it's worse. It's like pawn shop, they'll fucking gouge you. Guitar Center, they'll gouge you. Most places will gouge you. The only way you make money is if you sell it yourself on a site called Reverb, which has a lot of used and new music sales, or Facebook or eBay or whatever. but they always
Yeah.
expect to get retail. Like they look like, oh, this guitar is selling for $2,600. I want $2,600. Like, no, that's what it's selling for. We have to give you a lesser number because we have to fucking make money on the thing. And everyone's
Right.
percentage varies,
Exactly.
but like people just don't understand that premise. I don't know why, or like they don't understand taxes. So it's like, have you
Yeah,
not lived in
that's
this
another big
country your
thing. Yeah.
whole life? Like the final price is not the tax price, or the final price is the tax price. I don't understand. Like,
Yeah, not like the market value.
I don't know why people don't
It's
get
yeah,
that
it's
either.
not
So
like
it's
a
like, you're like,
it's not
why
a
is this
dollar for dollar
$2,800? Because like
exchange. Yeah.
the value keeps fucking going up. The more money it is, you get taxed more. The percentage is higher. The $5,000 thing for sale, it's a lot of money in taxes you gotta pay. It's stupid.
Yeah, like you said, like if you went to like Guitar Center, it'd be worse, right? So you're getting a good deal with with Matt's guitars,
Yeah. And
but
then
like,
pawn
cause
shops are even worse. In pawn shops, like they won't even let you test the shit. I went into a pawn shop in fucking North Carolina. I was going to a concert, and I stopped in there, and I was gonna buy something. It was something they had like it's harder to find good deals at pawn shops now because everyone has Google, so they can clearly like, and plus they always charge they charge they inflate the fucking numbers, so like they're worth a lot more than what they're actually going for. But this
oh
one they
really?
must have missed, so I was actually could make money off of it, so I was gonna go buy it, and I was tuning it up, and they're like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? I'm like, I'm tuning it, and like, no, if you break a string, that devalues the guitar. I'm like, what? And they're like, if you break a string, this devalues the instrument. I'm like, I was about to get into it with them, but I'm like, it's not even worth it. So I'm like, okay. I just handed it back to him and I walked out. So it's like the strings were fucking rusty, and it probably didn't even work. I was literally buying it as a beater so I could fix it up and sell it for a little bit more because I wouldn't even make that much money off of it. It's just the fact that I've never been able to get a pawn shop deal and flip it. I just want to do it just to say I've done it once and I have the skill set to refurbish an instrument. But like the fact that people try to tell me that if you break a string, it devalues the instrument is just the most asinine, retarded fucking thing someone could ever say to me because I do this for a fucking living. It's just, it blew my mind. I was just like, all right, here you go.
How
No
does that
sell for
work?
you,
Like,
bitch.
how does that work? Like, does it not? Or I don't understand how it works.
What do you mean? How many sets of strings have you put on your guitar?
A lot.
You think the original strings of an instrument are worth anything? Strings rust within like a couple fucking weeks. They're unusable after a certain amount of
Oh,
time.
well, I just wasn't sure. I just wasn't sure how it worked.
No, bro. The
I, mean,
fucking strings are the
I'm
cheapest part
no,
of the. They're like $7 for the cheapest pair of strings.
I'm sure you were right, but like,
The most expensive are like $30, and that's for like the extreme boutique luxury strings. Like it's just fucking stupid to think
well, I'm
that
sure
like,
if you like, obviously, if you did some shit to it, then like that would devalue it.
well, no, it's like these instruments are already in bad condition. They're already inflated, and you think like, it's missing one string and they're all rusty. Like if I tune it and they will break when you do tune them sometimes because they're fucking old and they're decrepit, and that's gonna devalue the instrument. It's just lying. It's not. It's simply what it is. It's not true.
Yeah,
It's
it's just
bullshit.
lying.
It's just not true.
No other way to explain it.
Like I don't, because like other instruments, I get like strings are really expensive, and like if they're gut strings and they're harder to find, so that I could see where if you break one of those, that's a pain in the ass. But like metal guitar strings are fucking everywhere. It's literally, like I said, it's the cheapest part of the guitar. You change them every couple weeks. Like you throw them in the fucking trash. You don't even save them. Like
Yeah.
it's so dumb.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with like if you're trying to like sell old video games and shit, or like consoles or whatever it is. I remember like there's the meme where it's like GameStop and it's like I have a new, it's like a brand new unopened Nintendo Switch, like a brand new unopened Xbox One of like all these games, and it's like sells for 23.46. Right.
You really gotta get lucky when you buy something as an investment. It has to be the exact right item.
Right. Or the other thing it was like, would you like to? It's like if you get in store credit, it's more money. Would you like to try that? Sure. And it's like 23.46 to 25.41 or something.
Yeah, it's not that much
Right.
more.
Yeah. GameStop be like, um, but no, but some video games. have gone up a ton value. Like there's that Pokemon game on the GameStop on the not on the GameStop on the GameCube.
Yeah.
I actually have a copy of that right in front of me, and now I'm thinking about it.
I think the most ridiculous one was they were auctioning off. Some place was auctioning off like the first iPhone that was been unopened and the plastic was still on the box. And I think Marquez Brownlee, the tech YouTuber, I think he bought that for like 300,000 or some ridiculous number, maybe even more than that. Let's see.
I don't care how rich you are. Like I'm never gonna buy stupid shit like that.
Well, he bought it for a video, so like to just open it, just to see if it would turn on and work. Like he actually did something with it, and he made probably more money off the video than he bought it for. That's why YouTubers do, like Mr. Beast. Like they'll just buy stupid shit and make a fun video, and then people will watch it. But
Hey, true, that's a good point. Because he gets more out of it, so it's a good investment.
yeah, so like he actually was trying to make sure, like, and I think it actually turned on. Like I think it actually worked. It's crazy.
Oh, really?
Oh, he spent 40,000. So that's what he spent. 40,000 for the first iPhone.
I see.
Yeah.
Damn.
I like Marquez Brownlee. He has good videos, but
I never heard of him.
he's like the top of the line when it comes to reviewing new tech, whether it's cars, phones, cameras, blah 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 blah. So like if he's a really good reviewer, so like if you're on the fence about buying like decent products, he kind of breaks it down pretty fairly. So it's good for like if you good for your next purchase on something useful.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, man. I wish I had the eye, but I don't have the patience to deal with people. Like, I already do it as a full-time job because I'm forced to. Like, I don't want to have to do it on my off time. Unless it was an item that was so highly valued that it's worth my time to do it.
Right, yeah.
Fuck that. Dealing with people sucks.
It's expensive, man.
It's expensive.
That's what the person says when they... No, that's what they want to say when they're waiting to hear the value of the thing they're selling. It's expensive, man. Right. The boomers, man.
Boomers. Well, I think this is a good spot to end it.
Yep, 3 hours. That was a good mark for us. Not 4 hours. That was ridiculous.
That was insane. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous, that podcast. Was that the last one we did? I can't even remember.
I don't know. But
yeah. 3 hours and 47 minutes.
It's too long.
Oh no, 4 hours was the bachata playlist.
Oh, I remember that one because we were fucking arguing for like an hour straight.
Yeah, right. So besides that, it would have been 3 hours anyway. So 3 hour, great. Okay. Well, that's it for tonight, folks. Gonna be posting this one. Yep. Good night, everyone. Hope y'all have a good one. I'm gonna be sleeping right now. Yep. Good night. Boop.